We're ready. Okay, we're going to open the regular monthly meeting of the Mount Pocono Borough. We'll call to order with a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We probably should have a chance to read them before we sign them.
Maybe postpone.
Okay, a couple preliminary announcements. We have a code of conduct. I want everybody to please silence all cell phones, council members included. Council members may not use cell phones during the meeting. If recording, please give your name. Please give Joshua your name and address. During these comments, please state your name and address. All right, with that, I will start off with the President's report. And I'd just like to report that we are now at full strength on our Public Works department. We now have 4 individuals. And then I'll ask the mayor to make his report.
First, remember something from the last meeting. Happy birthday, Wendy Webster.
Thank you.
So we're all going to come and jump in the lake.
No, we're not. No, we're not. Make sure you got your pass.
Right.
I know the detail.
So on that topic, a couple days after the last work session, the Summit Point POA had an executive board meeting to discuss their short-term rental problem. They invited the elected officials from Mount Pocono. Patty Bucko and I met with Wendy, Bill, Michelle, and Danette for what I hope turns out to be a really productive meeting. So I just want to run through pseudo minutes, what we discussed. So we discussed their covenants. Their covenants require a 12-month lease for rentals, and we discussed removing tenants who don't have a 12-month lease. We discussed the fact that their covenants provide that properties are for residential use only, not commercial, and that only residents in good standing are permitted to use their amenities, the lake, the pool, and common areas. And violating their covenants invokes a $250 per night fine, and the POA are going to look into what's involved with and when they can lien properties with accumulating fines. So they currently have 6 known short-term rentals within their community, and we advised the board to file complaints also on Airbnb. And in fact, I think they're preparing fact sheets on each short-term rental to hand out to property owners so that neighbors and owners can file complaints with Airbnb. When we asked what the #1 thing we could do as a borough, they responded, cite short-term rentals and issue fines. The borough currently doesn't have any active code enforcement, but council voted at the last meeting to advertise to hire a code enforcement officer. We're looking into a ticketing system too for codes enforcement, and I've been talking with Alexis about that. That was discussed previously too in other councils, and we're looking into that. And as we've discussed before, the borough has 2 court cases pending. I think Jim will give an update on those a bit later. But he did let me know, and I let the executive board know that Chada has filed a motion to dismiss our case on the basis of the unappealed zoning hearing board decision. And we're filing an opposing brief later this month. So moving on to the newly formed Safety Commission. They held their first meeting last Monday, the 28th. Jody Bodall, is Jody here, was voted chair. Don Struckel was voted vice chair. Other members are Kyung Kim, Lori Noonan, and Deb Fulton. Colleen McGuire, Christina Manny Ferrugia, Joshua, Ada, and myself were present. The first order of business was discussing a mission, a vision statement, and crafting bylaws. And from there, then laying out strategy and tactics to pursue safety upgrades and specifics to the borough. The first meeting was an organizational meeting, but future meetings will be the fourth Monday of the month and the second Monday as needed at 7. I mentioned at the last meeting that rumble strips are permitted by PennDOT in District 6 on Route 611 through Jenkintown. Their situation isn't dissimilar to ours. They have a narrowing of 611 into basically a main street that dissects their town. And District 5 should allow rumble strips through our downtown as well. Also, District 6 allows a mid-block light and crosswalk in Jenkintown, and we can appeal to 5 again, District 5 again, for that here, especially because there is currently no way to cross 611 other than playing chicken with cars at the crosswalk. And of concern to all pedestrians, but especially all of the kids who frequent the businesses downtown and residents of the 2 senior homes at either end of the downtown. And Jenkintown has a similar situation. They've got a nursing home, and that was part of the appeal to District 6 to allow a mid-block crossing and light. So Joshua's looking into PennDOT guidelines, I think, and he was going to email those to the commission members later, so that we all have a sense of what type of safety measures the borough can put into place. And at the last meeting, Mike Reardon asked me to speak with Chief Wagner about littering in the borough and what options we might have at our disposal. No pun intended, seriously. Just realized that. I had a discussion with the chief, and he had a few suggestions. Of course, to enforce littering laws, an officer has to see someone littering, or find a bag of trash with identifying information, as Fran has done. The department does enforce littering laws and issues citations and fines. So beyond that, the chief suggested that if anyone sees littering, take a picture of the car if you don't feel it's a threatening situation, or the license plate, or make a notation of it and call the department, and they'll follow up if they can. He just wanted to reiterate that he and his officers take littering seriously too. So on the 4th of July, I had the pleasure of watching the fireworks from the Knob Overlook. I was sitting next to, I don't know if they're here, Shirley and Bob Lansdowne. I staked the place early so that I could see, but I wanted to bring up to council that people stand on the guardrails there because the brush is again overgrown. There were spots from where you could see, but definitely by next year, there won't be any. And I just make the appeal to council to look into having the brush and trees on the overlook trimmed again, maybe this fall after the growth. And finally, I wanted to, I'll bring this up now, grant assistance. So during the county's hazard mitigation planning process, our emergency management coordinator, Rich Gannon, and we participated a few months ago in this and compiled a list of about 16 projects borough-wide which would benefit emergency and safety planning here if we had the money to pursue them. Some of them are big projects. So based on those projects that would help reduce dangers in the borough, FEMA and PEMA are sponsoring a workshop to provide assistance to apply for grants for these projects, hazard mitigation grant assistance. I think it's a great opportunity. I've been talking a lot about grants over the course of the last week or two to people, and there's a lot going on right now. Of course, it's grant season, the deadlines are coming up, but not unlike the BRIC grant application assistance program is this. And workshops are this week, and I think Joshua is going to attend one. I don't know if you were planning that or not, but it's, I think, Thursday.
It is. It's Thursday the 8th. I sent you an email on that.
So that's all I have right now.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. I guess the next one is Borough Manager. Joshua, you?
Sure, just a couple updates. Good evening, everyone. So obviously we're sitting in a much better atmosphere, so that the HVAC project was complete. Thank God they were able to do it in a couple days. They came in early Tuesday and Wednesday. We were able to complete that. They're going to come back and kind of check some things later this week just to make sure everything is running smoothly. But so far it's been great. I do see through on there the windows, so in case anyone didn't know, I don't think I really announced it publicly, but there was an incident, the box was thrown off the roof during the project, the wind blew it back, it smashed my window in my office, and Danielle and I were in there at the time, but we were not hurt, thank God. They will pay for it, so I did have Mesco Glass come out, they did the measurements. As soon as they give me the invoice, then I can, have them do the work, and I'll send that to Mets, and they'll take care of it, so we'll do that. I did throw in there a letter from the county. They're having a meeting on July 13th at 3:30 p.m. Some of you may have seen this. This is regarding the American Rescue Plan Act, the ARPA federal funding that's coming in. Obviously, the county is getting their own amount of money, like $33 million. They just want to pool the townships and the boroughs together and do some comprehensive planning and just throw some ideas around. So that's July 13th at 3:30 at the council of the county administrative building. Also in there is the June vehicle expense report. I don't think there was anything out of order there. I spoke to Jim. If you have any questions, certainly send it to me or Jim Trevetta. He also has the June maintenance overview. A lot of the work that they're doing now is just cleaning up the swales and the drainages, especially after the rain, like a rainstorm like today. They'll probably do some of that tomorrow and Thursday. Just try to keep that clear. We're still working on trying to really focus on ways that we can get that leaf vacuum truck. I know that a lot of their time is spent cleaning out those drainage, really just kind of going in there by hand and digging it out. So we're certainly working on that best we can. And I think I put that next page is the trash lien report. Diana works on this, and she kind of just we wanted to show you the breakdown of the year that the liens were filed. You can see on the left there the number of outstanding liens, and then of course the ones that have been satisfied. So you can kind of see the breakdown. We're cleaning it up. I mean, the total lien amount was $64,000. We were able to kind of satisfy about $41,000 of that, so we still have $23,000 outstanding. That's over a number of years. One actually just came in today. I think it's like $700. So we're working on a strategy to do that. I think I might end up just putting together a call list and trying to reach out to them. I think they get a letter before I was here. I think they were getting a letter when the lien was filed, but it really wasn't really satisfied until I guess the property was sold. So a lot of these are current property owners who just might not know that. Maybe they just don't know that there's a lien on their house. So we're going to kind of try to go through over these next couple months and try to get through that satisfied.
I have a question, Josh. Go ahead. You good. I know there was one property sold and the lien wasn't paid. Has that been straightened out yet? It was pretty substantial.
Was that I think if that was like the $2,000 one, I think that might have been the one that was satisfied. I'll have to double check that.
Actually, the company that did gave them the warranty deed is responsible for that. If you want to,
Right.
I mean, they gave them a deed saying it was no liens and everything else like that. Were nothing against it, but there was one there for $2,000 that they didn't settle.
Yeah, we'll definitely look into that. I think that one was, but I'll double check.
Okay, Danielle, you was trying to tell me something?
That's right, that's why they pay for that.
Yes, but now, as Diana went through all of this is the only thing that's outstanding in on the lien list for sanitation.
Correct.
Okay, that's tremendous. That was pretty substantial. It's down to $23,000. So, and we used some of that money in our budget when we established it for the year, income from liens. All right, is that anything else, Josh? Oh, you have one here for advertisement.
No.
Yeah, you have one advertisement for a zoning call.
Oh, yes. So that one we are working on. So Alexis is on vacation this week. Before she left, we were putting that together. We actually couldn't find a job description, so we were kind of pulling some things together, changing hers around. So I need to revise and edit that this week, and then I should be able to post that job actually hopefully by the end of this week.
I might have one for that.
Okay.
I might too, Josh.
You might have what? A job
job description, but I think it's for the zoning officer now. We'll have to pull something out, pull the things out that occurs to the thing. I think I do have one. I'll double check that
Okay.
tomorrow or the next day, but I'll get it to you if I have it. I'll let you know one way or the other.
Excellent.
Okay. Treasury report.
In your packet, we have the cash report, the balances. Members of council, in your packet, you have the cash reports, the balances for the
Okay.
month of June. I don't know if we're going to get it done by August the 1st, though, because that's your next meeting, I guess.
Yeah.
I won't have
Well.
reconciliations at that point.
You know what we told you to do. Use your book balance and make a note of it that this is it. Danielle, there's two things here, and we should ask Jim about these. We have two accounts with the FNB Bank. One's for the payroll fund, the other one's for the general fund. And they have a balance on them, and we need new signatures. Will they accept, we need the minutes showing that, let's say I'm a signature and Tom's a signature. Now, would they take that from a solicitor, that these are the individual?
Generally, banks will give you a form that they want filled out in the nature of a resolution saying who the signatories are. Every bank is different. I'm not familiar with their procedure.
Okay.
You may want to inquire as to whether they have a form, because a lot of banks do have a form that they want you to fill out.
These two accounts amount to about almost $37,000, so we have to get them closed and put them up in our NBT bank. One's payroll and the other one's the general fund, so we'll check that out, okay?
It's been good hanging on to the general fund because I keep an eye to see if anything still is in there or coming
Right.
out. But there hasn't been anything being dropped in it from any of the agencies.
But I would check with them, see if they have a form to complete or whatever, and
Okay, I'll
if
see
not,
I get
we'll,
a signature form,
yeah,
just re-sign it.
okay.
Yes, okay. So the amount of the bills for this month, $105,830.01.
Does anybody have any questions on any of the bills?
Mr. President.
I've been trying to review these bills and to the best of my ability to see whether or not they're legit or not. Trust me, it's hard. But it has to be somebody that's really what it should be is somebody that knows that this bill was paid, like, something in the public works. Jimmy Trombetta, he usually knows all his bills, that what they're for and everything else like that. But there's contracts and so on that we have to kind of keep an eye on. We're doing our best to make sure they're legit.
Janelle,
That's
that's one of
just
the
what?
bags.
Pardon?
One of the bags, $154, is that monthly?
No, that's a group of bags that the, ordered for the parking lot, those bags. I hope it's not monthly, don't, so they bags in 1 month, oh, no, this is.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that,
She wanted
Claudia.
to know if the trash liner bags was a monthly bill. No.
No, it's when they buy so many and what they use them, actually, they put them in outside, not like in the borough someplace where they,
Out there,
yes, right.
in the park.
Wherever they have a container that has the trash, they're trying to get them rather than throw it outside, they have a bag, and every Monday they go pick them up. Any other questions?
What's covering that NBT card member service, prepaid miscellaneous, $364.56?
Hang on. There was a membership, what for? Membership fee?
Card member service,
Yes,
and it said
NBT.
miscellaneous, $364.56.
Whereabouts is this? Under,
There's a breakdown under prepaid bills.
It's right in the middle,
Oh,
under
okay.
NBT.
There's a breakdown.
NBT.
The membership
Oh.
dues were $99, the electronic time clocks, which there were two, they were $59.36. If you look in this, put it, If you look here on this one, you can see what it is, okay?
Oh, this is the breakdown.
Then, yes, and we have a label maker tape,
Okay.
and Google Workspace Business, and 16 downtown flagpoles,
Okay, right, I see that, thank you.
okay?
Okay. I personally don't like companies having credit cards, the truth of it. I mean, if they won't let you charge it, don't buy it, don't do business with them. But I'll go along with the flow. Any other questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion that we approve the bills to be paid as submitted.
I make that motion.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion was made by Stacy, seconded by Patty. All in favor, seconded by saying aye.
President, a question.
Go ahead, I'm sorry. I should have asked that.
I haven't been back to my computer due to my traveling right now. Joshua, did you send out any packets that we could have at least reviewed?
I did actually, just before the start of the meeting.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry. I should ask on the question. There was a motion made in first and second. Any questions on any of the bills? If not, have a vote. All in favor of paying them, signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Opposed? Motion so carried. He kind of scares me.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Danielle.
Besides the report that Danielle does, we also have a monthly report of actually the budget to actuals that we have spent today, so we can see how we're going and where we're at and what it looks like. And there, we reviewed that last month, didn't we?
Last
Yeah, we had a
month, and-
special meeting and we went through the whole thing to see whether or not we were in line or in trouble, and there was a couple of questions, but I think overall we're okay. All right. I guess we don't have a zoning officer. Josh, who's code enforcement officer? We don't have, what do you want to, can you,
Yeah, there was no major updates other than some of the ones that we're gonna cover that's on the agenda we'll talk about.
Danielle's on vacation, not Danielle, Alexa's,
Alexis.
Alexa's is on vacation this week, so we don't have a report, and I guess we can live without it. All right. Jim? You have a-
Mike indicated I would speak briefly about the short-term rental cases, which I will do. Mike correctly indicated the Chatta matter is subject to a motion to dismiss that Chatta by his attorney filed. And the allegation there is that the zoning hearing board several years ago, when they found that he had a non-conforming use, that we are stuck with that, and my argument is the law changed, and so the law that the non-conforming use decision was based on isn't good law anymore because the Pennsylvania Supreme Court changed it. So that's going to be up to a judge to decide. My brief is due next week. On the other case, that's the Lin Jiang Hang case. We gave notice to list that. The other attorney wanted to take a deposition of Alexis, and so we have set that. Her deposition was scheduled just today for July 13th of next week, and I sent her an email stating that. If you could let her know by text, that would be helpful. And that's basically, so both those cases are on the front burner, and there will be some resolution of them shortly. I don't have anything else.
I just want to point out one thing. On Dr. Oz program today,
You saw that?
we have a problem. There's a lot of people who have problems with that. That was on Dr. Oz, where, just so everybody's aware of it. It's not only Mount Pocono Borough. I guess everybody has different rules, different, I mean, probably not as good as ours in some cases. But there was his whole show was about short-term rentals. And he showed where we were fortunate, where people rent these, and I'm sorry. There's people that rented them, and then they beat them up. And people have to have special insurance then to take care of the damages of what the renter did, renters or whatever it was. So I think we're really fortunate that we don't have that problem.
They beat the people up or they beat
I'm sorry. What'd you say?
You said they beat them up. The people or
The
property?
people that rented them beat the houses up.
Oh,
They put holes in them and
Yeah, they
everything you could think of. I mean, you can't imagine. One room was full of beer cans.
There's gonna be a complaint this week on the one that we're fighting with.
Yep.
So,
We have a gentleman back there has his hand up. You want to stand up, state your piece, and state your name, please.
My name is Gary Thomas. I'm at 12.
You're going to have to move your mask. We can't hear you, Jerry.
Sorry, my name is Gary Thomas. I live at 12 Cedar Road. What they should do with these rentals, the temporary ones, stop renting the house out. If you can't afford it, put it on the market and sell it to a family. I'm tired of noise, and I'm tired of everybody coming down on me, telling me it's my band, it's my band, it's my music. I play country. I don't play heavy metal anymore. And I even told them that. I went up there twice at 3 o'clock in the morning. The third time I went up there, they were like, what are you here for? I said, I'm here to beat the hell out of the whole entire house. And that's exactly what I went up there for. And I was like, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, you woke me up, my mother is sick, and nobody gives a damn. The only way you can solve this problem is stop renting the house out if you're a homeowner.
You're not right on that statement.
What are we supposed to do?
They're
then?
trying.
Put up with the music?
It's not that easy, trust me. And you
It
can
is
ask.
easy. I'm paying $4,800 a year for taxes, and what am I getting out of it? Aggravation, stress, and a heart attack.
Look, you and half the people from
And
Pocono
that's not
Summit.
fair. I have other issues that I gotta worry about.
All I can tell you is that they're working on it, and once we get one through the process legal, there'll be a heck of a lot less.
I'm not going nowhere with this meeting. This sucks.
Okay.
I'm going home.
All right. Any other?
Franny, why don't we have, since Chuck is here, why don't we move his matter up on the agenda?
Okay.
so-
Yeah. Let's do that. Let's see. Where am I at here?
A,
Okay.
under
Under
new
the
business.
solicitor. All right.
Was that the?
Chuck, let's go ahead.
Oh.
Yeah.
well, Mr.
8A.
Marianne's up. Marianne, are you on?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, we're gonna,
Talk about it, sorry.
oh, okay, all right, she just has to get somebody else on. We were waiting for that part, but I guess, Chuck, if you wanted to start, then I'll get over to Marianne.
Sure. We reviewed the land development plan for Taco Bell. This was a revised plan. Pretty much all the comments were addressed, some things that came up. When they made the revision, the double drive-through lane that replaced the single, the zoning officer and other borough officials wanted a bypass lane. When they provided the bypass lane, they lost a 10-foot buffer, so now it was closer to the property line, and also there's a landscaping requirement that went with it. So that requires a modification, so they did submit the modifications, and because that wasn't part of the original plan, wasn't part of any part of Hirschland on that part of the property, it still has to come from the front of council and to act on those modification requests. And Mary Ann's supposed to present them.
Yes, yeah, Marianne, so Marianne's on now. Marianne, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, if you want to go ahead and just remind everybody, who you are and your position, and then maybe just run through a couple of those points and items and the action that you're looking for council to take. You can introduce Joe as well.
Sure, thank you. My name is Marianne Mahalik. I'm a Fuller Engineering Project Manager. I am representing Jody Gastel with Summerwood for Taco Bell. And we submitted originally with the amended land development application 2 modification requests, and it was associated with the addition of the second drive-through lane, which shifted the curb line to be east of the property, along the east property line. Really, we're just looking for approval of the modification requests. The one was to reduce the previously approved 10-foot buffer that's along the non-residential property line. And then the second one was for approval of an 18-inch curb reveal, which was in lieu of a retaining wall, as opposed to the 6 to 8-inch curb reveal, which was previously approved.
And let me just briefly say, that's under, since we jumped ahead, that's under new business, obviously, and it's, okay, if you see it, all right. Go ahead.
Really, so really that's just the two modification requests that we're looking for, recommendation of approval from Borough Council. And there were two other items, I don't know if you wanted us to discuss that now, or? you're
Well,
gonna
let's
wait till
do
later?
the modifications first.
Okay, thank you.
Did the planning commission recommend these?
Yes.
They did, okay. And is our
Do we have a
engineer-
letter to that effect? That they approve?
I never
This
saw
didn't
that.
go to a meeting.
Well, then how did the planning commission approve it?
We recommend.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
don't know if it came back to plan.
Yeah, it did come back,
Okay.
I think, yeah.
And that would be reflected in the minutes of the planning commission?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, and does our engineer,
This
Leave
is the
it.
property line that backs up to the rear of the shopping center next to it. They have no landscaping themselves. They have gas tanks back there. So if they were putting landscaping there, they would actually be putting the landscape in so they didn't have to see the adjacent property, not provide
Right.
landscaping so the adjacent property didn't have to see them.
Okay.
So this is an area that, I would recommend that's reasonable to give that modification.
Did you ever check some of the places that have two lines going through and then merge to one? I'll take a Chick-fil-A down in Bartonsville. Two lines, then they go to one. They aren't accomplishing anything, buddy, because when you get to the one, then it's all jammed up again. I mean, you may have double orders coming in, but they can't make it that fast.
Chick-fil-A is like one of the most efficient companies around, okay? By the time you get to the front, your food is there, it's hot, they have that down to a science, so don't let the two ladies.
No, I'm just saying as far as when you try to go through to save time, that's basically why they have double.
But you don't go through at the same time. Even
I
in-
know,
even
that
in
was my
McDonald's
point.
and
My point was
Starbucks,
that there's two lanes and then they merge to one, pick up the food.
It works out fine.
I don't know how it can, but it
well,
does.
let's vote on the modifications.
Okay. So what's our status of this particular thing now? Do we have to approve this
Yeah,
change?
you have to vote to approve them, or disapprove them, as the case may be.
All right. The
I'll make a
question,
motion to approve.
And I'll second.
For Taco Bell.
okay, motion was made by Patty Bucco and seconded by Stacy. On the question? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion so carried.
Was Ron there?
Yeah, did you hear that, Ron?
Aye.
Is Tom Nebo on the line too?
No.
Tom's not on, okay. Just so we get everybody that's attending this meeting.
What else do we have? for
You are,
Taco
okay, we
Bell?
got you, Ron, okay. All right, the second, didn't you have another part? That
Yes.
one's been passed.
All right, this is a little bit unique in that it's a land development plan that's part of a larger land development plan. So you have the developer who's got an overall developer's agreement and improvements secured as part of that. And he wants to lower his securities by the amount that these plans are going to provide securities, which is a good idea, and I recommend that. But now that you have a land development plan that's part of an overall one, is it okay to handle these revisions during an as-built process? Or do you want this to be a real land development plan that gets recorded? If it has to be recorded, there are no title blocks on this. This is labeled as an amendment to the overall plan, which is already recorded. So if an as-built is okay after the fact, and your developer's agreement requires them, this isn't a comment. But if you think it should be recorded, then they have to add signatures onto sheet 1 of this land development plan amendment.
What happens if there's a second owner in that? Let's say that I own it, and I turn around and sell it to you. I mean, do they come along with it, or?
As far as the developer's agreement
Yeah.
and security, if you buy that,
I'm
that's part of
on.
the settlement.
Okay.
You have to figure out. I think that's going on with Posh right now. I think they want to sell off,
Uh-huh.
and they've got to get their securities straightened out, or that's part of the closing.
Okay,
I
so,
personally don't, given the magnitude of the changes, I personally don't have trouble doing it as an as-built. Do you agree with that?
I do.
Okay.
okay, I'll entertain a motion. We got the solicitor's opinion and our engineer. I'll entertain a motion that we accept the as-built as the plans of record, I guess.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, the motion was made by Patty. Have a second? Second by Stacy. On the question? All in favor, say by saying aye. Opposed?
After my report, though.
All in favor, signal by saying aye. You all did that. Opposed? None. All right, motion passed. All right, I guess that's it.
Is there anything else?
Mary Ann, did you have any other comments or anything else that we discussed?
No, that was it.
There's conditions in my letter, mostly housekeeping. It'll be taken care of with developer's agreement. There's a couple items in here about the cost estimate, the
Okay.
adjustment, that hasn't been done yet. But the conditions are all spelled out in the letter, so I would say if you're going to do conditional approval, make it subject to the engineer's letter.
Right, Joe already received a copy of the draft developer's agreement. He's working on that with his general counsel.
Yeah, I sent them a draft of the developer's agreement.
Okay, that's it?
Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
Sure thing.
Do you want
Good
to
night.
allow Mr. Nicholas to be on his way? I don't think there's any other, I'm sure he would.
Yes, yes. I don't think there's anything, I'm sorry.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
You owe me for moving you up.
Mr. President,
Yes.
in reference to the draft development agreement, was there a signature line on there for the Mount Pocono Municipal Authority to sign off on it?
I haven't seen it, Mike. I couldn't tell you.
No, but there can be.
Shouldn't there, I should say, shouldn't there be? Because, I mean, they're gonna be dumping sewage into the treatment plant.
Yeah, when I get it back, I will address that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Josh, make that a note that the municipal authority is signatures required on that.
Okay.
All right? Thank you.
Now you're back to.
Now I'm back to
number
the
five. You're back
solicitor
number
again.
five. No, the solicitor's done. Now you're back to approval of the minutes. right?
Approval of minutes. We have March 4th, April 5th, April 19th, April 12th and 26th, May 3rd, and May 17th. I have one question. Do we have all these minutes?
No, so the only ones that I've been asked for tonight, I'm not sure, I guess someone's gonna give an update on the March 4th, what we're doing, but the only ones that I actually included in there is April 5th, April 19th, May 3rd, May 17th, which is those four. The ones that I emailed you guys last week.
I haven't had a chance to read them, so I don't know whether they're correct or not correct. My suggestion would be hold them off to the next meeting. And give everybody a chance to read them. You know, we should get them a little bit earlier or
Well, I
whatever.
sent them last week, right? And these have been in the packets for like a month.
Yeah, let's do these.
But we can wait, I mean, it's fine, I'm just saying, that I didn't just send it to you just tonight.
This is the first I've seen the ones that were going. In fact, when I made up the agenda, I didn't even know what meetings were. I asked Mike to dig back to get them up.
I think they were sent, Josh did send them last week, but I don't know, there's so many, it
There's a
might
lot,
just,
yeah,
yeah,
there's-
it might just benefit.
I
to
don't
wait.
think another month's gonna hurt us.
The meeting that was always in question is that March 4th, and that's not here.
Right, because I don't know what to do, I don't know if I'm supposed to revise that, or if we're waiting for the stenographer, or I don't know exactly.
Did the stenographer get the tapes?
I don't know.
That was a question I left with you and Jim.
Oh, right, and when I asked you, Jim, I think you said she couldn't hear it, so you were gonna check with her, and
Yeah, when I talked to her, she said she could not decipher, but my understanding that was the digital version, and then there was, I found out through Mike that the tapes might help her. I tried calling her today, she wasn't available, so I will keep communicating with her, and I will by email let everybody know what the status of it is.
So just for clarity, she had called me a while back and said the digital recording, she felt she could slow down the physical audio tape, the cassette tape, better than the digital. So if we could get those to her.
do you want me to just give you the copy, Jim, the tape tonight?
Sure.
If you wanna just take it to her.
Okay.
So we should go ahead and approve these other minutes. There's no reason to hold these up, right?
I can speak for me. I didn't read them yet. I wasn't around. I didn't-
How good's everybody's member from March 5th to today? I'll admit, mine isn't that good, so I have to read it and recall what's going on.
April 5th to May 17th.
Yes. You're talking April, May, June, 3 months?
Are we gonna put it on the work session, or, I mean, that's, it doesn't have to be approved tonight, I don't wanna dictate, because then I'm gonna have June's for next.
If you have two members that say they haven't read them,
Yeah.
you know, for whatever reason, I would defer it to the next meeting with the understanding that the members that haven't read them are going to make a point to read them so you can approve them the next
So will it be
time.
on the work session, or so that this
No,
way
we'll
we
approve them
can-
at the next meeting, which would be August. Unless we have a special part in the work session.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying, if we just add it on the work session, it'll be done and put behind us, so we don't have to have it on August.
You'd have to
Meeting.
have a meeting after it to make a motion.
Yeah,
Did
it
you-
All right.
takes like
Does
5
your
minutes.
advertisement accommodate possible
Yes.
meetings?
Yes.
That's what I thought, so, yeah, you could do that.
Well, let's hold off on the approval of the minutes until the next work session, which is what, about you have a date? I'll say July 19th or something like that.
It won't be here.
July 19th.
July
Yeah, July
19th, what a
19th.
good guess that was.
I won't be here, but I'm gonna say that I'm gonna.
So what's your feelings on them now? You're approving,
I'm
okay,
ready to
just,
approve them because I already read them all.
all right, all right.
Table it till July 19th.
We'll table it until July 19th when our work session. All right, now we're up to persons to be heard, the Mount Pocono Association? Nothing?
No report this week. this month.
Okay, thank you. And I won't even try to pronounce it.
And Shinkovich.
Shinkovich, yep, you got it right.
I was looking at it.
Good evening, everyone.
She-
Can everyone hear me
Hey,
all right?
she gave a hand up.
That's what,
Did you get it?
yeah, right.
Okay.
No.
There's a volume.
Is that button on?
Yeah, that's all, it's just that.
Sometimes gets feedback.
Oh, I can hear you. It sounds like it's on.
All right, thanks. Hello, good evening, council. Can everyone hear me all right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm here to discuss with you the petitions that the library wants to do for another referendum to help address the problem that came because of the countywide reassessment and its effect on the library's dedicated funding. So I was back here in November, and I thought we had a very productive conversation. The library's board took what was discussed to heart, and so tonight I have a small packet for everybody, and I wanted to review the situation that puts us in this position of the reassessment affecting the dedicated 1 mil that was put into place in 1994 with the public vote. So based on the current assessed value for Mount Pocono Borough, which is from the county's annual tax report, which is the 3rd page down in your packet there, Mount Pocono's current assessment is, what was that? $262.
$1,981,
Right.
$860?
It's, no, it's, let's see, it's $262 million, or $262,981,860.
60,
Yeah.
that's what I
Okay,
thought.
so if the 1 mil that we had originally is not in effect right now because the reassessments windfall law for the initial year. All right, and those laws are included in your packet this evening. We can talk about that. But we have this problem because 1 full mil of your current assessed value is $262,981. And everyone in the library board agrees that that's too much money. Okay, we talked about this last fall.
Right.
We want to do another referendum to set a new dedicated millage rate. And, you know, Mr. Boyle made a comment that was very valuable to us last fall, that the original rates were set at 1 full mil because all the property values were assessed at 1/4 of their value. So I know we talked at the last meeting about what was a good strategy. You know, we were looking at the numbers, and we all thought, the libraries board thought that sticking to $0.25 of a mil for the new assessed value was really the best strategy, because that kind of reverses
To keep
what
it the
happens
same, yeah.
with the reassessment. Okay, so what I put
So in
on,
other words, it goes back to the way it was.
no, going back to the way it was, meaning it will be 1 full mil. We're creating a new rate, which is 0.25.
Right, but I'm saying because the valuation was a quarter of the value before, now it's full.
Yes.
If you reduce it from 1 to 1/4.
We're reversing it.
Okay,
Right.
got it.
Yes,
All
we're
right.
It'll
trying to
end up-
levelize it.
It'll
Right.
end up being what it used to be.
Right,
just-
that was
yeah.
my point.
I mean, the actual annuals on that, because there's new development moving into the area, it always grows, and I'll show you a spreadsheet here in a second. But what we did on the first sheet here is we gave you examples of what would be kind of a person's tax then, based on a new $0.25 funding. So a person whose property was assessed at $100,000, their annual operations millage for the library would then be $25 a year. Now, if it was a full mill, it would be $100 a year. So you can see we really did try to reverse engineer that. Mr. Boyle's comment last year was really, really important for us to land on that number, because we were kicking around a bunch of different percentages. And you can see there from the chart, all the way up to $300,000, a person's property, their annual library tax would be $75 a year. The next page of your packet shows the values that we received from the borough. From 1990, that was the first recorded one that we have. Well, we were getting funding back to 1975, but the ones that we have in QuickBooks went back to 1990. So you can see how that's grown over time. In 2018, we received at 1 full mil based on the funds before the reassessment, $39,540 for the borough's tax for library. And then in 2019, it was $40,098. And you can see during all those years that it fluctuates. One of the reasons that the library prefers millage over an appropriation is because the millage follows the growth in the community. So during the recession years from 2008, to 2015, depending on how you feel about when the recession ended, you can see that it kind of hovers between 38, 39, maybe 40. 1 year it bumped up because there was some prior year's delinquents that got cut up, but all that catches up. When we have an appropriation, it doesn't necessarily follow the growth or decline in the community. So that's one of the reasons that we prefer the simple math of using millage to set the library's funding. So the next page after that, again, I refer to the county's assessed report that they put out every fall, just for everyone's information. And then the page after that is a draft of our petition. Okay, so how it works, some of you understand how petitions work, some of you don't, but what happens is only persons who are registered to vote in Mount Pocono Borough can sign the petition. Anybody who is registered under any party is allowed to sign a petition. Only people who live in Mount Pocono and are registered voters can circulate a petition. So for instance, I would not be eligible to circulate a petition in the borough because I live in Coolbah Township. Okay, does anyone have any questions about the mechanics of circulating a petition? Okay, so the question is right here.
How many signatures do you need?
The minimum signatures is based on 3% of the
Yeah.
prior.
Do you know what that is?
You know what, I do, it's in my office. I think it was
Okay.
only like 300 people who voted, so it's only like 10 people. But we're gonna go for more signatures than that.
We
I have
need
a
the
question
signatures
for you.
today here.
I have a question for you. I noticed your chart showing what you received from 1990 to 2019. Is there any, what was the receipts for 2020?
2020 is not complete yet. There was a few issues that Danielle is working out with us and Joshua about the prior year's delinquents. So when we do our posting for the year, we include prior year's delinquents, and we haven't received others yet. We're working on the documentation. There's no animus. Everything is cool.
Yeah, but how can you put receipts that you receive in 2021?
Well, we're in 2021.
I know, but they're receipts for 2021, so 2021's receipts should be higher than any one of the years.
Okay, so what we do is we use adjusted journal entries and we post it to prior year.
You're talking about 2 years.
Delinquents are good for up to 3 years before they get kicked out.
I know she has some money, you know, that
We were
for
significantly-
delinquent taxes that weren't paid, she has dollars
Yeah.
that will be
She
forwarded.
just gave me a packet this evening. I had to take it back to the library and show it to Lynn so we can go through our books. We are about 6,000 short on what would be normal receipts for 2020. So we're still looking at what happened, and we just have to comb through the books until we get that all sorted out. That's why it's not on there.
Okay.
Okay.
Did you get an opinion from your solicitor as to whether or not the council could change this without having to do a referendum?
Well, we can discuss that. I included a copy of the state library law that we have to abide by for operating. You know, one thing that's important to point out is that the library receives funding from multiple sources. Cuba, Mount Pocono, we have district funds, county funds, restricted grants, all this kind of stuff. We also get money from the state. Because we get money from the state, we have to operate by the state laws that apply to libraries. We have to fill out an annual state report. We have to fill out documentation that explains how we're going to spend our money every year. They track all this stuff. Okay, so this is not just like free and loose. We have really strict guidelines for how we're allowed to operate. And we also have to do an audit every single year, a full, complete audit. Okay, so when I'm operating the library, I can only function based on what is in the state law for libraries. There's no other law. So we're going to look at, if you go down in your packet, it's the first page after the affidavit for the petitions. So one piece of paper here. It's the development of local libraries, section 9315. And I included this so we can all go over it. So this refers to 1994, and also in our case 2008 with Cuba. It doesn't apply for that for Mount Pocono because the building vote didn't fly here. But, so for A, the vote on library tax approval. The qualified voters of a municipality shall determine at a special election whether to establish an annual special library tax on all taxable property of the municipality for the establishment of maintenance of an aid to a local library under the following procedures. So number one, subject to paragraph 2, the municipal officers of a municipality may submit to the qualified voters the question of the library tax at any time. So, Mr. Ferrari, this gets back to your question to me. Number 2, if petitioned for by 3% of the number of individuals who voted in the last preceding general or municipal election, the municipal officers of a municipality shall submit to the qualified voters the question of the library tax. And then 3 down talks about the mechanics of the tax. But the most important one is highlighted. B, timing and amount of tax rate. The following shall apply. Subject to paragraph 2, which I just read to you, is about the voters approving the tax. The library tax established under this section shall be an annual tax which shall remain in effect until another vote is taken to change it. Nobody has the right to change it but the voter. Not the library, not the council, except for...
How about number 2?
Number two what? The municipal officers of the municipality that have approved the library tax may increase the rate without submitting the question to voters. But you did not approve the original tax, the voters did. So this one does not apply. It says the municipal offers of the municipality that have approved the library tax. That is not what happened in 1994. The voters approved the tax, so the voters are the only ones who are allowed to change it. And in this case, mathematically, we're actually asking for a reduction. We're asking for a reduction from 1 full mil to a quarter of a mil. Okay, so it's a reduction. Does not apply in number 2.
No, I just asked, did your solicitor render an opinion to you?
Yes, she believes that the state law is on our side, that there is a way that it blends into the reassessment law, which is on the next page. Anyone like to read that? I'll do 2 pages down. Is the assessment law that applies to this situation. Okay. So So if you look at the general local government code for limitations on tax increase after countywide reassessment, you go down to section 3 that's highlighted. Okay. Except as set forth in subsection F, the section shall apply to all rates of taxes levied on an assessment roll after a countywide revision as provided in subsection B, including millage rates established by referendum, which is what is the 1994 library tax. Okay, if you go down to B, we're all familiar with the initial rate. The initial rate applied to 2020. That is when the borough had to set the taxes level to the preceding year. Okay, the next section down, B, final tax rate, includes the initial rate plus the 10% increase if you choose to do it. Now, I understand Mount Pocono Borough did not choose to use the 10% increase for that initial rate for 2020. Is that correct?
I have no idea.
Okay. So, what's important there is that it explains what is supposed to happen in the initial year. Okay, the initial rate and final tax rate for the first year, which is 2020. Okay, thereafter, if you go down, each tax rate under this subsection shall be fixed at a figure which limits the total amount of taxes levied for that year against the real properties contained in the duplicate for the preceding year to not more than 10% greater than the total amount it levied on the properties the preceding year. Again, this is what you did for 2020. You kept the taxes level to what was taxed in 2019. On the next page is highlighted in section F, limitations on changes to certain tax rates. Notwithstanding subsection C, which is the 10% rule, or E, the rate of any tax which is established by referendum, again, this is 1994's library tax, and adjusted as provided in subsection B, which says that you have to keep it level during the first year. Okay, this shall be subject to any subsequent increase, decrease, or elimination only as provided otherwise by law. The law that provides for the library to have referendum is the state library law. Our solicitor's opinion is that we have the right to do a petition question to get this problem fixed. This is not the borough's problem. This is not Coolhouse problem. This is a problem that was solely created because of the county doing the reassessment. Okay, so we're trying to reverse this.
What is it that you'd like the Borough Council to do?
Yeah, that's my final
Nothing,
question.
I'm just, okay, so the reason that I'm here is to tell you that we are doing a question. Okay, so the question is, shall the library's dedicated millage for operations, which is based on assessed property values, now be reduced to 1/4 mil, 0.00025, from 1 full mil, 0.001, as was set in 1994 by popular subscription. We are only here to tell you that we are doing a petition, and that at the beginning of August, we will bring the executed petition sheets to you. And then at that point, we'll be submitting those petitions to the county to be included on the fall ballot. That is why we're here, because I want everyone to have an opportunity to ask me questions. I want everyone to understand why we're doing this, to be very transparent about this, and answer any questions that anyone has.
And I would just point out to council that the library has the right to do this, whether or not we agree with it or not. My own personal feeling is it's beneficial because it just as was said, it reduces the tax to basically what it was before the reassessment. My thought.
Okay, now, is this going to be a referendum?
Yes, Mr. Moore.
So in November,
November.
the people will vote on it, so it'll be the people's choice whether to, majority of the people's choice,
We hope.
that it will go to 1/4.
Yes,
And when we say 1/4, that is the total amount,
yes.
not what's presently plus the quarter.
No,
It's
no,
not
no, no,
1
no,
¼
no.
it's
Okay. 1/4,
I think
okay.
she's
We wanna
being very
go-
clear. It's a
Just
quarter.
want it clear.
1/4, absolutely, no, 1/4.
It's a quarter.
What we feel that this levelizes what happened because of the reassessment. It does give us a little bit of a bump. We know that during the initial rate, you said it, I think it was 0.17 was what the library tax ended up. So we're talking about 0.08 increase to go to 0.25, but then it will be 0.25, hopefully for the next 30 years or more, long after I retire. and then somebody else can deal with this. And you can imagine
Really, it's
the,
up to the public, but the
it is, and what we
They can,
want is a public.
regardless whether we agree to it or not.
Right, right.
But I think she's here telling us what
Mike
they're
has
gonna
something he
do.
wants to say. I'm sorry, Jim.
It's okay.
Mike Gozer, 39 Fairview Avenue. The one thing that Ann has said is all true. Jim says it's true. Won't bring it back to 1/4. But one thing no one realizes, that is a 50% tax increase from 2019. The 2019 tax is $40,000. This will raise the taxes to the Borough of Mount Pocono residents to $65,000. That's a $25,000 a year increase. In the past, it was voted no to any type of tax increase. And in the past several years, every time that and that your group has come here, right, it has been, in fact, I believe in 2 years ago, you tried to do another petition, and it was denied because of the circumstances around. No one's realizing you're taking it back to a 1/4%, but the dollars and cents of that quarter mil tax is not the same. If you're gonna take it
understand
back,
that, but
No
the
one
property
said it was gonna be
assessment,
the same.
right, it's
going
not gonna
up
be the
every
same.
year.
but you're going up at $65,000 a year tax to the library.
So
Right,
you'd rather us have to pay
Wait a minute.
Excuse me, not 260, listen to what's stated. Taking it back to a 1/4 mil takes it to $65,000.
Exactly, but-
You have to take it down to a 1/8 of a mil to get it to the same tax base that it is now.
But they are entitled to
May-
one
Who's
mil.
entitled to
Wait a minute,
what?
wait a minute. Let's one at a time here.
Man,
Mike had it. Go ahead,
Okay.
Stacy. You
But
want to?
they're entitled to 1 mil. So, I mean, common sense, I would rather pay a 1/4 of a mil than 1 mil.
I'd rather pay 1/8 of a mil.
Well, then Mike, then vote no.
What?
Then vote no.
Then vote no.
I mean, wait, hold on. They have a right to ask for a referendum, okay? And whether you agree with it or not, your point may be well
And
taken.
who wants to
Stacy's
be
point's
against
well
the
taken. The
library?
electorate decides that, what they want to do.
just for clarifications, for my understanding, and hopefully those in the audience as well, at 1 mil, based on our current tax assessments for everyone, everybody's tax assessments went up based on the fact that they are being assessed at 100% versus the 1/4. So that's a given. So even if we were able to keep the tax rate that we pay you, or excuse me, the millage rate that we pay you equal, you would still be paying more because your property is assessed at a higher value. So I understand your point, Mr. Oser, but to say that, well, our tax revenue is going up in the community based on our businesses and the assessment, but you're not entitled to that increase is not fair. So that is why I'm not saying one way whether I support it or another, but bringing it to a referendum so that we can allow the voters to make that decision.
Well,
Now, if they say no, we're gonna be stuck at 1 mil, and that is
No,
not
no,
gonna-
no, 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 no,
Yes,
no, no.
we will.
You got two different angles here. You got two different valuations the way they're figured out. One is on 100% of the property, and the other was on 25%. I mean, that would have to be a court case to see what you're going to pay for that.
Well, the council doesn't really have anything to vote on.
Right.
This was for informational purposes, and I think that's really all you can do tonight. And
That's
they'll
right.
put it on a ballot, and people will vote as they deem it's appropriate.
Just like they did before, whether the people decide whether or not they want to go for it or not.
And we appreciate you coming in and updating us on what is about to happen.
I just want to add one thing too. If anyone's confused about how this applies to them personally, you can get your tax bill out, look at what the assessed value is, and do the math. I put the math here very clearly. 0.25 is, a 1/4 is 3 zeros. Okay, you can figure it out. Someone who has a regular residential property is certainly not going to be taxed at the same rate as like
Jim,
the Walmart
you have to make a motion.
Aspen Dental or
No,
anything
it's
like
up to them
this.
to go out and get the signatures.
You also have to consider too, I know there's a lot of guff about all the investment properties, all the rental properties, all those people who come in here and buy homes just to rent them out and make a profit. They don't care about this kind of stuff. Like, look at what's in your local community.
And, look, you told us what you want to do.
All right, I just.
But I mean, actually, it's, you have the, let's say, the authority or the right to do it. and let the residents decide.
No, absolutely, I just wanted to add that information.
I mean,
about
we
the map.
appreciate that too.
So I want to, if anyone has any questions, they know where to reach me, I'm happy to answer them. We wouldn't want to even be having this conversation if the county had not done the reassessment the way they did it. It's so botched up. If they had done it every 5 years, or God help us, they've blown it off for another 10 years, we wouldn't even be having this conversation.
Exactly.
So we appreciate everyone's time, and just please let us know if you have any questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ann. All right, the next one on our people to be heard is Dan Buku.
Boccio.
Oh, yeah, Pocono Pride Fest.
Dan is, he's online. Dan, can you hear me?
That Zoom is great, isn't it?
When it works.
Yeah, and it works.
Dan, just unmute yourself, can you?
I hate to talk to machines.
Depends on what the alternative is sometimes.
Well, the alternative is,
Was somebody
is
else?
Dan behind, that Dan?
Okay, it looks like he's walking, but I don't know if you can hear me. Dan, you're still muted, but go ahead. You can plug it. Looks like
Okay, Dan, you have the floor.
This isn't Dan.
Once Dan figures out how to unmute that, he is on.
All right, here you go, how about that?
There he is. I'll let Dan have the floor. I'm Paul DeFabo from Pocono Pride, along with Craig Bunnell and Joe Kappa, and one player who decided that this was the lead practice early to come see how local government works. And then Dan Bosch is on speaker. He's the president of the organization.
Thank
those
you.
that don't know, we're a numerous fast-pitch softball organization. We've been around for 20 years. And we are currently up at the Oak Street location. We operate out of the Field of Dreams, and we are looking to build a pole barn, an indoor facility for practice for our organization. And Dan can offer more about that now.
Dan, you have the floor.
If you're there.
All right, if you can hear me. Okay, okay. So, we came to you guys a few months ago about putting a pole barn for the winter workout facility up at the Mount Pocono facility. And we went and got the LSA grants from, we got approved for a grant for $92,000 currently right now. And we're gonna be getting more of the grant money in November. So I wanted to see what we had to do, if we can talk about this, about getting approval to start to move forward to putting up this indoor barn, pole barn, I should say, up at the Mount Pocono field. I sent some letters out to some people about what we're about, what we're trying to do for the young ladies in the community. And basically, it's just trying to see what we have to do to move forward with this project.
So what are you looking for, Dan?
Okay. We're looking for final approval for the, to put it in the Mount Pocono Oak Street field.
I think he's looking for the 10-year agreement that he specified in the letter.
Let's say, I as one, I've never seen a plan of what you're trying to do. Do you have a
Just
plan?
submit that to you as our solicitor.
He should, well, they should go to the planning commission with some kind of plan to say.
Yeah.
I was having trouble hearing, but.
You have to go to the planning commission with a plan of how you intend to put that on the property in order for that to be approved by the solicitor, and then you can get started.
There's probably also building code,
Right.
building code
But
permit.
that'll all be explained at the planning commission
Would you like
meeting.
to go to the planning commission?
Yeah, we can't just say, go
Right.
ahead and throw it up, like,
So Dan, we would need a sketch plan, and then the planning commission would submit a recommendation to council then following, well, a land development plan possibly too. But to begin with a sketch plan to consider and then make a recommendation to council.
Is the
Okay,
funding,
so I've heard the planning board to get things going.
is the
Now,
fund,
well, the thing I'm asking you folks is, these pole barns come with their own architectural drawings and all that. I can't submit anything to them without, knowing which pole barn we're gonna be trying to get.
Well, I think you need to show the borough where it's gonna be located on the property. You know, there may be stormwater issues there may be other building code type issues, so the borough really needs to see that. And I don't wanna tell you what to do, I mean, I don't wanna increase your cost, but you may need to get an architect or an engineer on board to show us exactly where it's gonna be, and so forth. But I think that's kind of prerequisite to doing anything here. Can I ask, is the funding all in place for this, or you're still in the process of getting the funding?
They don't have it.
Funding is 90% in place now to get this pole barn up.
And when would you anticipate being able to actually construct it?
Right now, we're probably looking at maybe getting it going in March.
March 2022?
Yeah, March of, okay, well, then you have plenty of time to go to the planning commission. I mean, I don't think the borough is not, naysaying this. It's just, we really need, they're gonna have to know how big it is, where it's going on the property, are there parking issues, are there stormwater issues, and that's really the business of the planning commission. And so we would encourage you to go get on the planning commission agenda and begin a dialogue with them. Am I speaking?
Okay.
Anybody have any other? No.
Well,
Okay.
the plan should show exactly what's gonna be in it and so on, not just, an outside look of it. I mean, you're gonna have bathrooms in it, or what? Step
I mean, if you
two.
have any questions about what
Well,
our
That
ideas
will all be dealt with at the planning meeting.
Yeah.
We don't need to do it.
Go ahead,
There's
Dan.
no water up at Oak Street right now, so we can't, we're planning on using porta potties.
Right, that's an issue that'll be covered during the planning commission meeting, so that this way all those logistical issues will be managed. It's nothing for us to really do at this time until it's sent to us. I wish you luck, I want to
I
see
mean,
that.
if you have any questions now to like what our idea is and our goal of size of the building and purpose of it, you
Well,
can ask for it.
that should be in the whole plan that's
Okay.
submitted to us, so the planning commission can look at it.
Okay, and they'll give their recommendations.
Right.
Yeah.
They'll be the ones to iron out all the
Specs and
specs
details
and what
and
needs to go
location.
where and location and what stormwater issues may or may not be.
Mhm.
Where you may want to put it, may not work out because of stormwater issues or parking issues, and they may make a suggestion for it to be somewhere else. So that'll all be managed there, and by the time it gets to us, it'll be a yay or nay type thing.
Okay,
Okay?
all right, thank you for your time.
You're
Dan, anything
welcome.
else?
Very much. No, thank you very much. I'm gonna move forward with that, and then, I'll get back to everybody up there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Next person is Mike Ozier, short-term rentals, committee meeting, protocol, general information. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, Mike Ozier, 39 Fairview Avenue. Regarding the information that's been forwarded from the last couple of meetings for the short-term rentals, as noted by several of the individuals from the last session, the session before that, the session before that, this council was blamed for not acting. But it was the Summit Point Property Owners Association that created one of the issues. As per the attorney that was hired by Mike DeGoya, it was simply and clearly stated that it was the Summit Point Property Owners Association had the greater standing regarding enforcement with their deed restrictions and etc. It was also stated that the borough has not acted for over 5 years. This council is not totally to blame. For a majority of those 5 years, the former council president, Claudette Williams, was council president. And without a council president's direction, there is little or no action that can be taken. Now, in reference to the Property Owners Association, it is not fair to this borough that the residents pay for the legal bills that the organization could have, meaning the organization, the Summit Point Property Owners Association, could have curtailed a lot of the issues that are now with the Summit Point, the rentals, vacation rentals. Now, there are other vacation rentals in the borough of Mount Pocono. They have been brought to light, and they probably will be brought to light. But another issue that has come up is that vacation rentals in the borough, whether they are legal or illegal, are not paying their fair share of the Mount Pocono Municipal Authority fees. It's a commercial entity. So basically, Thursday we're having our meeting, the once a month meeting of the Mount Pocono Municipal Authority. They're going to be, a motion is going to be brought on the floor that even though they're an illegal procedure, it is outside of the municipal authority's governance. They will be charged as a commercial rate. Not only as a residential rate, but as a commercial rate, and also be charged they will be charged the tap-in fee, the current going tap-in fee for that commercial use. So basically you have two issues wrapped into one here. The borough of Mount Pocono total paying all costs in reference to the enforcement of the current enforcement of the short-term rentals, when it is the responsibility, the initial responsibility of the Property Owners Association. And then from there, commercial versus the residential rate. So that's my thing in reference to the short-term rentals. Now the other thing is, I find it a disgrace when members of council are asking for something like committees and all that, yet they show up sometimes 36 minutes late to a very important first meeting. And also continually talking over anyone. And Mr. President, at that point, and the past when Tom Neville was acting president, when you were at home with your wife, I saw that quite talking over the current president of council at that time. So it's very ignorant when members of council do that. So take it into effect that there's one person talking, that's the president of the council, period. And that's what it should be. If you have any comments or questions, you wait to say anything and wait to be acknowledged and recognized. And now the third thing in reference to regular business, it was brought to the attention by the municipal authority of the issues that we had with the online billing. The only thing I'm going to say about that, the online billing through the website has been working well. But if you're going to bring up anything in reference to the municipal authority, make sure your bills are paid. Because right now, those that are behind the payments, we are aggressively filing liens on the properties. And then from there, the thing that we're doing now, once the liens are filed, and once we get a judgment for that property, we are selling the properties. So all those that have monies due to the municipal authority, we are taking aggressive action. Because that is another issue that is unfair for the rest of the residents.
You're
who
going
are
to take the sheriff's
ratepayers.
sale?
Yes.
How many?
Right now, I believe we're up to 4.
4?
4 so far. And that's only the start, that's only the beginning.
Could I ask you a question, Mike?
Mhm.
You don't if you install or pay for a sewage allotment,
Yes.
there's no difference between commercial and household or residential, is there?
Yes, the rates are different.
You changed them?
Yes, the rates are
It
different.
always used to be the same rate.
No, the rates are different.
Okay,
Yeah, the rates are different between your residential and commercial.
okay. But he's already there, so why would you?
Well, basically, it's in reference to the MPMA policy. If it's a commercial entity, even though it's, and I did question this of our attorneys, even if it's a commercial entity and a legal commercial entity, it is still considered commercial. They have to pay the commercial rate.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah,
All right,
and
thank you.
I brought it up that And I brought it up that some of these.
I gotta cut you short, Mike. You have anything else to say besides
No,
that?
that's it.
Listen, we appreciate the information.
Okay.
I have a question for Mike.
Wait a minute. Patty, go ahead.
Yeah, I just have a question. You said like you're gonna, for homeowners or commercial, I don't know what.
No, not commercial. They're basically where they have, we have judgments against them through the courts. So
How
we-
far behind are these homeowners? I mean, it's quarterly, I mean, okay, fine.
One is $17,000.
Oh, wow. Really? Why
That's
wait
it.
so long?
Well, see, we had to make sure, basically, we had to make sure every other issue and every other form of payment that we could get was exhausted.
Wow.
And basically, this board has taken the authority and taken the aggressive action to make sure that doesn't happen again.
Good.
So, I mean, one of them is 17,000, we've got others at 14, 10. We're still basically owed $190,000
$190
in back rates, in back accounts receivable.
Stacy, wait a minute. There's one other gentleman down.
Okay.
Where's the gentleman that's holding his hand up?
I need to correct you, Mike, on something.
Okay?
Yeah.
My name is Michael DeGioia. I reside at 1 Deerfield Drive. He said that my attorney informed me, yes, he did inform me, that our covenants are strong. However, when 10 Shelley Lane went to the Borough Zoning Hearing Board, the 2004 ordinance was already in place against 10 Shelley Lane. The zoning officer at that time did not bring it up. His name was Jim Borger.
Yes.
Okay? He let the appeal deadline go twice. Okay?
Sir, just to cut it short, we're well aware
No,
of what
I
happened.
need to explain.
Yeah, but we heard this
I
4
need to
times now already.
Defend myself.
Yeah, okay,
Okay.
but the
So-
zoning officer,
He screwed up the case.
he screwed up,
twice,
right.
Okay, twice.
Well, whatever,
Borough
and we're
zoning
well
officer.
aware of it, and that's
the
how he got in
2000
there in the first
Let me
place.
finish what I have to say, please. The 2004 ordinance was already in place when he started renting out in 2015. That 2004 ordinance said, there is no commercial activity allowed anywhere in the borough, in residential areas,
Okay,
and in R1. That's what it said when Chada started renting out. And your solicitors, James, and your zoning officer at the time let that go. They didn't know it. They didn't see it, okay? Had they done the case on that, we wouldn't be here today 6 years later. So please, correct yourself.
No. What did your Marshall Anders tell you?
That was after the fact.
What did
Okay,
Marshall
let's
Anders
not-
tell you?
It was after we were.
hold it.
We're not getting anywhere with this.
Look at, you
That was
guys,
after
if
we were
you
in the
two
mess.
guys want to have a conversation, just step out in the hall
I will not correct myself.
and put your dukes on and get it
Well,
over with.
let's just say that this is the fact.
Well,
okay?
we're
This is the fact.
well aware of the fact that Mr. Berger didn't do the right job, okay? We're well aware of that. Now it's trying to be corrected. And Jim is taking care of
And
that.
that's why we're here.
Let's
Because the
put,
borough needs to correct their mistake
we
from
have chewed
2007.
this thing around for, I think, 4 meetings, and I think it went far enough. Jim is in process of trying to get it squared away, and what I think, and I said this before, when we get one through,
Right.
the rest are gonna step in line.
We win one case. I want to
Okay.
thank everybody who has been supportive of us here in this room. You know who you are. So I thank you from my heart, and you know who you are.
Okay. Ada, you have something?
Do you want to say
Are you
something?
done? I'm sorry. I know that you were a person to be heard. I just wanted to address something before, but are you done? Because I don't want to
Yes.
cut you off. Okay. So if we're going to go through, I look at most of the time when people come as persons to be heard, they just want to be heard. I don't believe in personal attacks and going back and forth.
I didn't
No,
attack.
no, no, no.
He
I
attacked
this
you.
is not addressed to you.
Come on, let's-
This is not addressed to
It
you,
has
sir.
nothing to do with you.
This has nothing to do with you, sir.
Okay.
But the committee issue that was brought up about the committee meetings and council members showing up
There's nothing to
late.
do with this guy.
No, this has nothing to do
Oh,
with you.
okay.
Well, then what are we bringing it up for?
Because I'm addressing Ms.
Thank you.
Olson.
You're welcome.
we've chewed this thing around
I'm not
from one
talking
end to
about
the
that.
other.
Talking
Let's,
about short-term, she's not talking about short-term.
it's, well,
Right, so under
we're
the
on
government-
short-term, we're on that gentleman's question, or Mike's question, it's over. Let's go on to the next
So
subject.
as the person to be heard, you.
Where's
go
your
ahead.
name on here as person to be heard? I don't see it.
She's a councilwoman, she doesn't have to be
I
on
think,
the
Fran, she's
agenda.
addressing something Mike said, not about short-term rentals, but about the committee meetings. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
then she has a right to do that.
Okay,
Mike said something.
go ahead, I'm sorry then.
Okay.
Go ahead, Ada.
So at that meeting, I was late. It is a meeting
Oh,
that I
that
had
part.
put together, but everyone at that meeting was aware that I was going to be late because I was called in to cover a management shift at my job. The only person that was not notified about that was Mike, because when I attempted to call him, it kept going straight to voicemail. So everyone else, though, that was at that meeting, if you're here, you can attest that I told you I'd be a little late. Other than that, you weren't at that meeting, so I find it odd that you would even bring that up, but that's what that was.
No, not back and forth, please.
I'm done.
You're done, okay. Issue done?
Done.
Okay, let's move on to the next one. The next one is unfinished business, and I think we discussed this at the work session, that we're going to set up a procedure, and Mike is going to be working with Alexis to get and step one as far as that, and he's more than willing to do it. He's going to establish the procedure and the submission requirements to the council. All right. The next one is revision to the borough manager ordinance. Move to advertise borough payment of bond not to exceed $400.
I think you discussed this at the last meeting, I can't remember, I think it was tabled, I don't remember exactly why.
It
but
was
I-
tabled, you were going to do something to
I
it.
drafted an ordinance, just basically simply says that it's the amount to be paid for any bond shall not exceed $400. Any amount in excess of that would be borne by the managers, what the ordinance says. And you also discussed about doing the same thing for the treasurer and tax collector.
Yes.
And we can do that as well. If you want to advertise such ordinances, you could make a motion, and I will advertise them.
I have a question. Is this time for a question?
Yes. yeah.
Okay, so my question would be, would this be moving forward, or would this have to, like, are people that have already been grandfathered into the prior ordinance if they were hired
No.
under that ordinance?
It's-
I'm asking
I think
this
they've
for
already
myself.
posted, if they've already posted a bond, then this would be prospective and not retroactive. I mean, you couldn't go back and say, 2
Right,
years
so
ago.
if somebody was hired 2 years ago and we paid their bond
Right.
regardless of the
That-
price,
that's-
moving forward?
That's correct. Otherwise, it's what they call an ex post facto law, so you can't have that.
Okay, just making sure.
So what you're saying, Jim, is that we have to, if this happens, that every year it can cost us $2,500?
No, just going forward. Only not this year.
Yeah, right.
2022,
I think she's interpreting it wrong.
24, no.
Next year, it's going to be $400 that we're going to pay, and the individual, or whoever it is, or whatever position it is, has to come up with the balance. You were asking a question that he's grandfathered. No, the individual's not grandfathered. It's the maximum we're going to pay is $400 on a bond. That's what we're
Right,
asking
if the
for,
ordinance passes, yes.
if it passes.
So if you
Okay.
want to make a motion to do that, you certainly can. If you
If
don't.
that's what everybody understands, I'll entertain a motion that we draft the ordinance which will cover the borough manager, the treasurer, and the tax collector, not to exceed $400.
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second? Ron, did you hear what the motion was?
Yeah,
We need a second. Do you want to second it?
I'll second it.
All right. On the question.
Okay, so let me get a clear understanding. So, for instance, a situation we're in, if next year the bond has to be renewed.
It does, every year.
Okay, so it has to be renewed. The borrower only responsible for only that 400, and the other
Right,
individual
$400.
will pay the difference.
Right.
Is that what?
That's right. In other
Okay.
words, if it's the same fee, whatever, the individual, the person has to come up with the $2,100 or whatever it is. Any other questions on the motion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 And I'm an aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
Yes.
Yeah, nay.
It's 3-3, Mr. Council, Mayor, it's your decision.
Aye.
He's an aye, so it's,
It's just to advertise it, not just to advertise.
right.
No, understood.
Okay, a motion was made to advertise this particular revision to the borough ordinance, covering the borough
I
manager,
will do so.
the real estate treasurer, and the tax collector. Okay, that is taken care of.
The next one on here is D, and that hopefully is an easy, non-controversial one. We did advertise an amendment at the suggestion of the zoning officer for the maintenance code to state that all lawns or grassy areas must be maintained by the property owners such that all grass and other vegetative matter should not exceed 6 inches in height. That was the only change that was advertised, and you could vote now to adopt that if you so choose.
I'll make
Okay.
that motion.
Yes. I'll
Okay,
second it.
Patty's making the motion,
I'm
you're seconding it.
Mhm.
On the question? I like to say that it was, when they picked up the ordinance again, they missed the 6 inches. That's how it's not, we have to do it again. That, it was 6 inches before. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion so carried, so that's taken care of. All right. Mr. Mayor, you want to give us an update on the
website?
On the
I can.
website, yes.
So the website is live. Went live last week, and it's going to be over the course of the next definitely week. It'll be updated. There are some things that need to be changed on it, more things to implement on it. There's going to be an e-commerce piece to it, so people can pay permit fees. That's going to roll out in August, but the site itself is live right now. With changes to be made. It's the same
I put an R
website,
there, Jim.
POCONO, all spelled out, -pa.gov.
Which one of these do you say was approved?
I have a question.
Yep.
They both were.
Deb Holden, 65 Weaver
They
Street.
both were.
My question is, like, who's the person that's updating that every day? Or, like, let's just say with the trash, like, there needs to get a word out about the trash day, collection day, or whatever. Who's the person that does all that?
Well, it hasn't been, as you know,
Which
it
one
hasn't
was
been
approved?
being
They
done
both were.
up to now
They
because
both
we,
were.
but
They both were.
now that it's
Going
launched,
forward.
going
Okay.
forward,
I didn't think
it'll
they were.
be, Joshua will, he'll update, he'll send out, so there's a couple different mechanisms to do that. There's a Twitter feed, there is a Facebook feed, there's a Yahoo account associated with it, or I'm sorry, a YouTube, not Yahoo. And that, of course, won't be the announcement. But there's a couple different feeds that will get it out there to the public, as well as being a bulletin on the page itself. But the way it's working right now, Chris English, the developer, is doing everything at the moment, but he's providing manuals on how to do it. He's going to, over the course of the next few weeks, month or so, going to roll those
So
out.
it'll be another month until we can really.
No,
do that.
if you want to make use of it, the sooner the better. If you have announcements you want to put up, we can do that. In fact, it'd be better to start
So
using
we would
those.
send it to Josh.
Yeah, it'd be better to start using the feeds, so, yeah.
Josh will be the only one that will be making changes and adding things.
I don't know the answer to that. I don't know.
I don't, I couldn't tell you. The one thing that I think Josh, well, let's say he certainly could be the one, but they're instituting that you can pay your fees through the, let's say the computer, as far as like for zoning or something like that. We're going to set up a checking account, or not, I mean a saving account or an account, and so if you needed a permit, you could pay it, and it would go in.
Directly online.
Yep.
No, I was just wondering, in the absence of, is he on vacation and we need to know something?
Well,
Who else
So
would
what
we?
is
Well-
Chris English going to do?
So Chris is just initially taking care of this and then rolling out to the borough to update. That
So
was- that
he's
was-
not maintaining?
I think he provided, if we want him to do that, he can do that. There was a cost associated with that, and I think we chose, I'd have to look back at my records, that that post and things like that, daily maintenance wasn't his.
We didn't go for
thing.
that.
We didn't go for that.
Josh, are you trained up on posting and all that stuff on the website?
No, not yet. And actually, I need the logins for social media and all that too. I don't have.
So do you have any access at all to?
No, I just said.
No, like I just said,
Nothing?
that's not, Chris hasn't rolled that out yet. He's doing them for the time being, and then putting together an instruction manual that will be turned over to the borough. And he's going to instruct the borough too.
Well, if it's live right now,
then it's not really.
it's not.
Wait a minute, let's
It
not
is
have
live. It is
four.
live right
Well,
now. Yeah.
Okay, so there was something on Facebook today saying that the trash company will not be doing our bulk,
I saw that, I was gonna bring that up.
our bulk collections because they lost their driver.
Mhm.
And that's probably not gonna be updated.
So the first
For
place
another
I went
couple
to look
weeks.
was our website, but it just has the same.
We have to make use of it. So the site is live, but we have to make use of it. And it
If it's not
literally,
being
But we
used,
need
then
to
it's
know
not.
that.
no, it is. The functionality, it's being rolled out. It was just launched the end of last week. It's been live for a holiday weekend.
Who is
So,
going to
Well,
let
that's
this
what we're trying to
person
get at,
know?
like a timeline for when we should start depending on seeing those. types
and
of
that's what I
things.
said, if you want to start forwarding things, I can work with Josh, Chris can work with Josh in terms of the passwords and what he needs to have things posted there.
Shouldn't the recycling and our garbage collector be the one telling him that we're not having service?
Well, I think they do.
I mean.
Well, we have a committee for sanitation. They should be telling the committee, first of all.
It was somebody just put something on there that they were told, so.
That's just a Facebook, that's the,
And I
yeah,
get
that's not
that.
the boroughs.
Well, that's why we were looking
That's
for
why we're
something
asking.
official, like.
For something more official.
Right. The same way we didn't post an update on Memorial Day because the website wasn't live, that is the same reason we haven't posted that particular update for the 4th of July, because it just became live. So going forward, we're going to be posting updates,
No, I'm not talking about.
bulletins.
And, Mary, I mean, anybody can put anything on the Facebook, doesn't mean that the borough's behind it. Well, it's not,
Do we have any notification of that?
no, they haven't done anything.
No.
The sanitation committee should be the ones that get the information. There's a chairman
But
on
if they
that.
get the information, where are they putting it?
Where is it going?
Josh can't put anything on it because he doesn't have access. So
You're
that's-
creating an issue of nothing. It just became live a couple days ago. And no one was even here over the weekend. Claudette's saying Joshua doesn't have information. He doesn't have information because it's not yet to the point where Chris is going to teach us how to update the site. And that's just being rolled out. In the meantime, he's maintaining it himself. And I think Josh was aware of that because he sent an email to that effect. So Josh can speak to that too,
Who will be on our
possibly.
sanitation department?
I'm the chair of the sanitation department, and until you said that, I was not made aware of anything. So I can't confirm or deny that.
So as far as you're
But I-
concerned, Nate, it doesn't exist. Somebody just put it on Facebook, whatever. It could be
Let
me. I could have done
Let me
it.
just state two things. When it comes to county, to our waste management, people call them individually when they need bulk pickup.
Right.
You're supposed to call to notify them that you have bulk pickup. At that time, whomever made that post may have been told something that we here at the borough were not told, that they just lost their driver and would not be picking up. Not to say what he's posting is or she is posting is incorrect.
Okay.
It just has not been disseminated to the borough.
So the solution is not, is it a solution for us to keep discussing it, or you as chairman call in and find out whether it's true? That's what I would do if I was chairman.
I have had my hand up for like 1,000.
Well, I
Trying to address
recognize,
this, but like I have not been allowed to speak, so.
no, I
can speak
recognize
now.
you, and you were. I just asked you, didn't I put my finger at you to talk? Yes or no?
Okay.
Okay,
so
go ahead.
In regards to the sanitation situation, again, they have not contacted the borough, so I was not contacted in regards to that. I don't know if you were contacted directly in reference to it, but if he was, he would have notified me as well, by email or however. The other thing I wanted to, if I can go back to the website, I think the website looks great. I don't have any complaints. My question is that we have a business spotlight on there. Are we gonna have a directory for all of the businesses in Mount Pocono? No offense to
We
the
are.
casino theater, but that's just one business.
No,
and
we are.
selected just them to
They're
be the
treated
highlight.
So what I was saying was the functionality of the site is being rolled out in stages. So there's still more to come on the site. It's not all visible yet.
No, but
So-
I understand that,
No, I
but
know.
my general question is.
We do have a directory, and we're going to post that. We're having a monthly business spotlight that I was gonna ask council, when we get to it, if council members would like, I think it'd be a good idea to circulate among council members, nominate a business for a business of the month, and feature that business on the website every month. That's what we were planning to do.
We have over hundreds
So
of businesses
then
in the
it's easy to
borough.
think of a business.
Yeah, but no, for it to be on the website for a month is going to negate the ability to highlight these small businesses that may not survive long enough to be in the rotation. So I don't know that highlighting, no offense, one particular business is fair versus just providing a directory.
There is a directory.
I just don't think we need to highlight an intent, like individual. It shows a little bit too much favoritism and.
I think promoting business is a
and-
good idea, so that's just my thought.
I mean, that's my opinion. So I have a problem with the highlighting of just one business when there are not other businesses being listed at this time.
Well, we can bring that up when we see it. Okay. Next is grant update.
Okay. It's not personal, guys, I hope you know that.
Yes, it is.
Patty, you want to give us
Yes, it is.
an update on your grant?
Joshua, have you done anything from that Zoom meeting, the April, for Mr. Cartwright's office?
The brick, yeah, so the brick the research is ongoing. It's not the way I understand it, because I know you were pushing kind of a source perhaps of funding to like rebuild the maintenance garage. That's not really how I read it. It's not like they're gonna give us $1 million to build the garage. It's really a lot of hazard mitigation. It's a lot of, so that's kind of, it's more than just like apply for the grant in 2 weeks and then get the money. It's really like a whole research. We don't have engineering and surveying
No,
reports.
it's not at that point. I know you didn't make that Zoom meeting. You said the last 5 minutes you were there. It's not at that point to get engineering or whatnot. The monies are there. There's a lot of money out there. And if we don't jump on it, we're not gonna get anything. There's FEMA Go, which is grant outreach. They will help you with all kinds of paperwork to move forward. The maintenance building, I was told, leaks water, so it is a hazard. The roof could cave in, snow could pile on the roof, so it is a hazard.
It's not a federal emergency management.
It is, but if you listen, you weren't on the meeting, so you can't.
But I read the material.
Joshua, it's in our list for the hazard mitigation plan. The maintenance garage is, I can tell you in a second which priority it is, but it's in the projects that were submitted to the county for, so the benefit of that is that the grants, we can apply, and that's what this program, the workshop on Thursday, and also there's the Brick Go program.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah.
So do you want me to kick it over to you and Rich? Because I think I was taken off of the hazard mitigation.
No, I'm telling you that, and I did before, that this is this is a project in the list of projects. It doesn't have anything to do with the plan itself in terms of what we're talking about, the grants. It's applying for a grant. There's a whole list of 16 projects for which we can apply that are prioritized in the plan. That was the extent of the plan, to prioritize these projects, identify and prioritize them. Now we have to decide if we want to apply for grants for them. And I think that's what Patty was getting at with that.
Thank you.
There must be a deadline for, when you have to have this done too, so.
Deadlines are all coming up. This is.
Right, I don't
that's
think we
what they
can
stress.
just sit and spin our wheels. We gotta jump on it, and if we're gonna do it and get going.
They stress that this is the time of year to get your grant, all your paperwork in. I cannot be on Thursday's call, that's why I did send you an email to please register, please be on it, and please copy the grant committee. I unfortunately can't do it this week.
All right?
Can I ask a question? What are these 16 projects?
I don't have 16.
Do you want me to read through them?
We have 16?
We have 16 projects. The hazard mitigation plan was sent around and approved by council. There are 16 projects that were identified within it that basically are projects to identify that would mitigate our danger should something happen. A big snow event or
Do you have the list on you?
There, it's not a list. Each one has a form. I can
Okay.
run through them quickly if you want.
Well, I think that's just all she was asking was just.
Well, she's looking for the names of them, right?
Yeah.
Like what they
Stacy?
are.
Yeah.
Do you want me to run through, or do you want me to
Email.
email them?
Yeah.
I'd like
Okay.
to be
Can do that.
CC'd on that too. Thank you.
Email
You
them
were.
to everybody.
Okay.
Yeah.
Item, you want to cover item 2? Yeah, under the grants.
I asked Joshua if you had talked to Chuck Leonard, I didn't get a response back, so I don't know. I was told that you were talking.
Did you get it
to
from
him,
Chuck?
So I don't know.
There's a letter in your packets.
No, I emailed you, but you didn't email me back
What was that today?
Well, the bottom line is,
last week.
we were going to put in for 2 grants, one from LSA
Yep.
and the other one for a multi-model grant, and both of them for $500,000 to put the road in from 611 to the industrial park. And that was discussed at a meeting when I had with Mario and those individuals that were interested in it, Sharajan and so on. And somehow, some way, he took over it. I thought you were gonna do it, okay? But the bottom line is he took over it. I think it's really great that he did because it won't apply to us.
Well, exactly. Well, we don't
Right,
own
it'll
that
apply
property.
to the industrial park
Yeah,
authority.
we don't own that property, so.
Right, but so he's handling it, and I've
So
had
it's
word,
that-
I've had word that we're pretty certain we're gonna get it, so let's put it that way.
I spoke to them, and the multimodal is due, as you know, the end of July. So they'll be asking for
Some
letters of support and
A
those
fee,
type of
a
support
letter and
documents
there's a
$100
fee too.
Yeah. The LSA is until the end of September. They're still gathering information. But there's of course a matching fund with multimodal, but the LSA can be used
To
to
match
fulfill
again.
that matching
I didn't know
fund.
it was matching, okay.
Yeah. And as Patty said, they're not applying on behalf of the borough, that they're gonna have to apply on behalf of the developer because the borough does not own the property, and there is a
Right.
land ownership issue with multimodal.
That's part of the conditional
Yeah.
use
Right.
agreement.
Right.
Anyhow, it's in the works. Let's hope we get it. I'd much rather see people come down 611 and go to Walmart or over that way and get them out of the intersection, and that's the plan, to get that going that way. Make the intersection much better. All right, how about the hazardous mitigation grant application?
That's what I spoke about at the beginning of the meeting,
Oh,
so
okay.
nothing additional about that.
All right. Well, now under new business, we did the Hirschland thing. There's a note here, a second, let's say, second street light purchase motion. That particular, I think this is the one that was knocked down long, 4 or 5 years ago.
Right, so that's the second one. So the
Okay.
first one,
That one there, I just want to say, someone knocked it down, and I understand there was people that seen them knock it down, but they vanished, okay? So we don't have it, but I think that's going to be that should be an insurance claim, is what I'm trying to say. I mean, it just didn't fall down, someone hit it. How it happened, somebody backed into it.
If there's no time limitation there.
I don't know if there's a time, call our insurance company and ask them if there is. Tell them what happened several years ago.
You don't know who hit it?
Huh?
You don't know who hit it?
I don't know who did it, but.
How long ago was it?
Oh, 4 years ago at least.
They're not gonna pay that.
You're a day late and a dollar short.
Yeah. Well, it depends upon the insurance company. The worst they can do is tell you, no, we're not gonna.
Well, your own insurance,
That's what I meant.
well, may
That's
cover
the-
it, but 4 years after the fact, I don't know that they.
Well,
would.
I mean, we don't know who did it.
You certainly can make a phone call.
Phone call and tell them you have one, someone backed in, knocked it off,
Insurance go up.
and see if they'll cover it.
Can we still approve the purchase though? So if I talk to them tomorrow, they say yes, can we just, because I want Jim to go ahead and put the order in. So we-
I think we've got to find out where we're going to get the money first. If it wasn't there for 4 years, we can wait till next year to put it in.
Don't we need it,
Anything
though?
that I can do to keep so we keep a balanced budget, we're going to do. We're not going to spend money that we don't have budgeted.
Okay, so we'll just buy the one then.
But it's our operating street light. We kind of need the street light.
The one that they knocked down in front of Jody's is covered by insurance. That one
That one we're gonna order.
that one we're going to order. The other one
To do both at the same
next.
time, just order
At
both.
this time, unless the insurance company says it'll cover. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
I have a question.
What?
I don't know where you're talking, where this is.
It's
Right across the street.
right across the street from the Casino Theater, Patty.
I was just trying to ask is there foot traffic there? I was just trying
Oh,
to-
yeah, there's,
Well, then, that's a safety issue.
Right. and we
yeah, but
should-
they got it all taped up and everything.
No, it's not a safety
No,
issue.
it's
It's
dark.
dark, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's true. They could do two things. They could just remove it, what's left of it. There's only a stump of,
No, but I'm wondering, if I was walking down the street and I'm on a sidewalk and all of a sudden it's dark, am I gonna trip on something?
well, if that's your worry, I'll tell Jimmy to put a big pylon on top of it so that it's covered.
It's not that dark
My
there.
worry.
No, it's not that dark there.
It's right by the corner at Fairview.
Yeah, well, it's down a little bit.
Yeah, just down a little
That's
bit,
the
yeah,
one.
yeah.
But that's been that way for years. Yes, Dan?
Next time this happens, you should give it to business owners, because I would have had it on film, because it's right across from the theater, we have
Yeah.
cameras out there, but our cameras only last 2 months and then it rolled over. So
Mhm.
next time this happens, you should give it to the borough, because the police have come to our place numerous times.
And caught people.
Yeah. Well, there's another situation, if you want, they ran into the town clock down there, the wall of that. They jumped the sidewalk and missed everything else, but hit the wall of the clock. You know, nobody saw that one either, but I think they did. Maybe we need some cameras around these particular things
Well,
that
that's
are.
what he was saying, is the businesses across the street may have had that on camera, if you contacted the business.
Well, yes,
area.
but that's like, you know, that's like 4 years old at least.
No, I know, but I'm saying when it happened.
Yes, it should have, but that was it. All right, let's, Joshua, check with the insurance company and see if they will cover it. You have the cost, if they're buying one, it'll be the same thing. Tell them it happened and we don't know how it happened. Well, we think they had to back into it or pull into it, they hit it with a vehicle. And see if they'll cover it. From there, we'll take it from there. Okay, next item I have here is the notary renewal. I think everybody has a, Jim, wait a minute, I got something here. I have something here from Jim, it's from.
That's different.
I know, but.
I can talk, why don't you do Diana first, then we
Okay.
can talk about that later.
All right, where's Diana? I thought I had the
Here you
info,
go.
but she gave me a sheet with everything on it.
It's a memo like this.
Yeah, I have it right here.
We tabled this because we were supposed to find out the cost. I wasn't over in Florida,
Well,
this is
that's-
I. So
We
were supposed
table
to
it
find out
because,
the cost.
we have the cost.
And this is a memo, this isn't even an invoice from a.
No, it's a memo. Diana made a list of, well, a summarized list of all the individuals that received the service from them. Most of them are like the authority and the borough and people running for election and things like that, where she did them free. And like, most of them are from for that particular kind of service. And there was quite a few of them. So it's a 4-year bond, and it's the total cost is $488.35.
I know, I understand what it's for, and that's, we had this same memo, this is dated June 1st, and at the last.
Yes, I have that too.
Right. And at the last meeting, I had questioned it because it is high. And I had asked Stacy because she's a notary as well.
It is what, I'm sorry?
Expensive, it's high, the amount is high.
Because it's
Oh, I don't know whether it's high or low.
4 years.
Do we have an invoice? I don't like to pay off
It's
the
for
memo.
4 years, like the E&O insurance.
We don't have, quite
She's
honestly.
requesting an invoice before she's willing to, and I agree because
I'll speak.
Well, no, but we haven't approved it yet, let's put it that way, so why would you have an invoice?
No, you're gonna go off of a memo.
That, she's just telling you on the memo what that item costs.
And this is through Pennsylvania Notary Association. I do mine through National Notary Association. It's probably cheaper that way.
Yeah, it is cheaper,
That's
that's
what it is.
why I just.
Okay.
I had a paper with a breakdown.
When does her current notary expire?
Pardon?
Do we know when her current notary expires?
It's right here.
Yeah, but yeah. It's not in there, I don't know.
I gave you mine.
Huh? Oh, this?
Okay, then why don't you table it, since it's November, table it, and have Diana get a cost from the National Association and bring it back to the next meeting.
Thank you, Jim.
Okay.
Well, I can give it to you guys.
Let me just say one thing. Of this cost, that she's saying it costs $488.35 for 4 years. It's a 4-year fee. She had a list of everybody that she did it for, the ones that were paid for it, and the ones that didn't, whether it was the authority, or whether it was a council person, or whomever it was. But she had a cost, or a list of everybody that did it. And I had it.
Fran, the question is whether it could be gotten cheaper somewhere else, if
Yeah.
that's a concern, so.
Okay,
If it does, not up until November, just table it, you'll take care of it.
yeah, it
next
doesn't have to go. All right, we'll table this till next month.
I'll get to
We'll have to put that on the agenda again, all right.
Thanks. I didn't do that.
I think I'll go.
I didn't do that.
Okay, the next item we have here is purchase ground mulch for Park and Rec Committee comments, $2,000. My question is, and I'm sorry, I feel this way, we have a Park and Rec Committee, then we have a chairman. I have no idea why we're getting this, as council people, why we're getting involved in this. We should go to them and let them take care of their own problem. I'm sorry.
I can explain.
Yes.
Come on, Deb.
You got the microphone. Great. Deborah Fulton, Parks and Recreation. Probably the reason why you have it is because, as far as we know, it was purchased every year by the maintenance guy, Jim. He took care of ordering that because it has to be a certified,
Yes.
and parks can't spend any of their money. So every year it was just paid for out of the maintenance money allotted for parks upkeep.
I don't know about that.
Well, that's what I know, so that's all I
Yeah,
know.
it is.
That's how it's been.
Yeah, every year.
And I did speak with, and I called Deb, and I did speak with Randy too, just to bring him in, but he said the same thing. It was something that was done by Lori and Jim every 3 years or every 4 years, they just did it, so.
Every 3 or 4 years.
I think it was it was like
I don't
every.
think it was every year. I don't think
No, it wasn't every year.
It was
Well, I beg to differ with you. Last year, the mulch was donated by Ed's Auto.
only one time.
Well, whatever it was, whether it was one time or whatever it is,
And it
they
wasn't
donated.
enough to
It
bring it
wasn't the
to,
right kind.
You have
it
to
wasn't the
have-
right kind and it wasn't enough to bring us to regulation.
Regulation.
Well, I talked to Jimmy today. He says if you look down there, there's 12 inches of that mulch in there. You mean you gotta put 6 inches on top of what's the 12 inches
The
already?
regulation requires it to be at a certain point for the, whatever piece of equipment is there. So if there is a slide, the mulch has to be to a certain point of the slide. Whether you have 7 feet of ground beneath it or 7 inches of ground beneath it, is regardless, it has to meet a certain level of the equipment that's sitting on it. And so that regulation, to bring it to regulation, the mulch needs to be lifted to bring it to regulation.
And it's supposed to be certified too, right?
It has to be certified. I sent Joshua information regarding the specs on playgrounds and the safety, so
Yeah,
I
they come-
sent it to you
Yeah,
to
thank you.
forward to the safety committee.
Yeah, I have that, thank you. And the company that we get it from, Green Pond Nursery, it's the same company we've been getting it from. It's certified playground mulch.
Just have to have the right amount.
And is this the amount that's quoted here for, that will bring that park to regulation?
Yeah, we believe so. As I talked with Jim Trevetta, we were talking about the levels, and that would be, I think it was 80 cubic yards, something like that, but yeah.
Okay.
I make a motion to purchase it.
I second that.
Who pays for this now, Park and Rec or the?
It comes out of the Park and Rec fund.
Well, it should come out of Park and Rec. I mean, that's.
It comes out of their account.
Okay, a motion was made by what? Patty?
Yes.
Who seconded it?
You can let Ada second it.
Stacy did.
Stacy seconded it? On the question? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion so
Can
carried.
you hear Ron?
Is he still on?
I heard.
Oh,
Just
there
muted.
you go.
Are you in favor?
How's
of
your
the-
vote?
Yeah, you vote in favor of or against it? It's the mulch for the playground. Are you in favor of purchasing it or against it? Are you still there? I just heard a beep. It doesn't make any difference anyhow, so. You're yes? Claudette, are you yes?
I'm good, thank you.
No,
Ada's,
I'm in favor, Franny.
okay, good enough. Everybody's in favor. Thank you. Now, we have a resignation here from Nancy Folger on the Planning Commission and Park and Rec Committee.
She's on both.
Not anymore.
For another 30 seconds, she'll still be on.
I'll make a motion to accept her resignation.
Okay. Mike, did you say that she was an alternate? Or?
She's an alternate.
I think she's an alternate on the one on Parks and Rec, is she? Deb, is she?
No, Parks and Rec, she's on.
Is she on? Okay.
Okay, all right. Okay, motion was made and second, and all in favor, say by saying aye?
Nobody second.
Didn't they?
Aye.
That was a second.
I'll keep you on.
Sure, I heard Stacy second it.
I didn't hear it, sorry.
She did, but, okay. Any question on that? Yes.
When you're done with that, I just wanted to say, can you go ahead and approve to advertise for?
Yeah, we'll do this first, okay? All right. The motion was made, it was second. Any questions? All in favor, say by saying aye, to accept her resignation.
Aye.
Is there any negatives?
No.
All right, it's all in favor. Okay,
Okay.
you want a motion to advertise for
I'll
the,
make a motion to advertise to fulfill the seat on Parks and Rec Committee.
I believe we just advertise those, we don't advertise in the newspaper for those, do we?
No.
Yeah.
No, we put it on the website. We can learn how to do it.
okay. So Patty's making the motion.
Sorry.
Patty-
Nothing against you.
Patty's making the motion. Stacy, you second? She made the motion, okay, good enough, you're right on the ball. On the question, we're gonna advertise for that position, or both positions, really. All in favor, say by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion so carried. All right, the next item here is set community day dates. Josh, I assume that's what we call yard sales, is that?
Oh, the-
Okay,
yard
well,
sale.
yeah, okay. Do you have some ideas?
Just every weekend.
We said we were gonna pick what a weekend.
Actually, it's for like three weekends, really.
Yeah, 3 weekends.
Is that what, okay.
We just
This way
And
they
it's
can
free.
do it
It's free to the
so that
person.
they don't have to pay, I think it's like a $10 fee
Right.
for it.
Have the calendar up. When do you want them? I'll tell you what.
Somebody pick the days and we'll get a motion to advertise.
How about the last weekend of every month? Just leave it generic and that's it, or the third weekend of every month.
You have the date, any dates?
All year long?
To the end of the
No,
summer.
just 3.
So the end of August.
Do we do them for the whole weekend? Or?
Well, no, that's not
Yeah, it is.
Friday, Saturday, it's 3 days,
I
Friday,
would say
Saturday,
to the end of
Sunday.
September, because we've lost June.
So we're gonna do one in July, one
One
in
August, and-
July, August, and September.
Last full weekend of each month.
Yes.
I use that as
Last
an
weekend
example,
of
that
each
doesn't
month.
have to be what it is.
3 days, Josh. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Okay.
July 23, 24,
So
25.
July, yeah.
The last full weekend of the month.
23rd, 24, 25.
August
Then
20.
August 27, 28, 29.
And then September 24, 25, 26.
25th, 26th.
Okay, we got that done.
Should we make a motion? Do we need a motion?
We have to make a motion to advertise those dates for our community day, sales day, or yard sales day, whatever you want to do. They might know it if you say yard sale day, free yard sale days.
What day was it?
It's the final full weekend of every month, so
July, August, and September.
July would be the 23rd, 24th, and 25th. 23rd, 24th, 25th. The following month, which was August, would be 27th, 28th, and 29th. And for September, it'd be the 24th, the 25th, and the 26th.
Is that right?
Harvest Fest.
Okay. Harvest Fest is September 25th.
I mean, maybe
Okay.
you're okay with that, I don't know.
But we want to keep that.
Yeah, we don't want to.
Well, that's right, that's your weekend,
So
right?
let's do it on the weekend before.
For September, we could do it the weekend before,
Before.
not to conflict with Harvard Fest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine.
So we'll do it the
Thank
17th,
The 18th and
17th,
19th.
18th, and 19th for September.
Did we make the motion?
So that'll be my motion for our set community date dates as July 23rd, 24th, and 25th, August 26th, 28th, and August 27th, 28th, and 29th, and September 17th, 18th, and 19th. That's the
And
motion.
She's
they're-
making the
they're
motion.
fee-free, right?
Yeah.
Who seconded it? Patty?
I am.
Okay.
Fine.
I only have one question on that. I think you ought to,
Yes.
if you advertise this, that you put you can call it the community day, whatever it is, but put in parentheses yard sales.
Garage sale.
Yes, so we know what it's about.
Yard/garage sale.
Yes,
Yeah.
right. That's the only comment on it. Any other comments? Go ahead,
Freddie,
Mike.
you do have to remember one thing, they still have to come in and pick up
Yes.
the certificates that they haven't, even though there's no fee for it.
Right, right. Advertise it's free, but you must,
Why?
get a permit.
Why?
I never got
We didn't have that
that
done
on
in
3
the
days.
past,
I
yeah.
never got it.
Well,
Well-
you should have, because
Right.
basically it lets you know how many you're doing and how many
I think
times
that
you're
was
gonna have.
mentioned last time.
It's free.
It's no biggie. Let them come in and get it.
No.
That was never required in the
Still need
past.
to
I don't think we
know.
should have that as a requirement.
Okay.
So make a lot of extra paperwork for nothing.
Yeah, that's.
Is it was, motion was made, second. Now we're going, everybody in favor of it?
Yeah.
Any opposed? No, not even Ron.
Good.
Okay, just a little public announcement here. Pocono trailer conditional use is gonna be August
No,
2nd.
that's been, they're withdrawing their application
Oh.
because the property's being sold, so that's being canceled.
Ah.
They withdrew the application.
All right. What were they gonna do anyway? Where's this?
Pardon me?
Where was this gonna be? Ursuline?
The old homestead, the bi-level up on 940, you know, the bi-level up on 940 on the left. It was old office of Steve, whatever his.
Gladstone?
Yeah, it was old.
Oh,
Steve
okay, I know what you
Gladstone.
mean. Yeah, okay.
Is he gonna find another
They
location?
put their sign up.
All right, I think, I don't know if they've contacted you, but I heard the fire company is gonna be looking for something because they have, let's say, a request to have trucks running in and running out. Tractor trailers. They run in there with a tractor trailer, leave the trailer to go with the tractor. I heard this, okay? I thought maybe did they bring it to any of the committees? You know, Mike?
No.
It would have to come before, in other words, it's not permitted, so they have to bring it.
Right.
Okay. All right. The only other thing I have here is I have a little announcement here so everybody knows who the new safety committee members are for downtown. Is Jody Bodall, chairman. She's on a 2-year term. Don Struckles, the vice president, for a 3-year term. Lori Noonan for a 2-year term.
She's secretary.
She's what, secretary?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't
She'll
know
be
that.
taking minutes and such at the meeting.
Who is secretary? Lori. And then, yeah, you pronounce the next one. Young King for a 3-year term, and Debbie Fulton for a 2-year term.
Right, now, we needed to bring to council the request for dates for them to be advertised.
For what?
We had, for the meetings.
Oh, I thought you did that.
Did we do that, didn't we?
No,
We didn't approve it at council. We
I
had
still-
a meeting.
That's what they
The
decided.
council has to approve it in
Oh,
order for it to be
okay.
advertised. I
Yeah,
know
all
it's on the website already, but,
Okay, the meeting is gonna be,
council hasn't approved it
the
yet.
meeting, I thought someone said was the fourth Monday.
The second and fourth Monday.
Oh,
The second meeting is the meeting, the fourth Monday would be only met if business wasn't completed for that first Monday. So they want to advertise both, and if they need to cancel the second meeting of the month,
All
they
right.
will.
First and fourth Monday.
Second
Second and
and fourth.
fourth.
Oh, second and
Yeah.
Was it
It's
decided?
the
I thought it was
alternate
reversed.
Mondays from
Yeah.
council.
fourth. Okay.
Was it
okay,
in reverse,
okay.
or did they decide?
How could it be the second Monday?
I thought it
That's-
was the fourth Monday, and then the second Monday was the alternate if
No,
needed.
it's the first Monday. I mean, the
See, you
second
didn't say
Monday.
first, 'cause that's what I had wrote
I'm
down.
sorry.
Second Monday-
The first meeting is the
Fourth.
second Monday, that's what I meant to say. The first meeting is the second Monday of the month.
Okay.
Second meeting is the fourth Monday of the month,
If needed.
if needed.
Okay, so we need a motion to advertise that.
Did I get that right, guys? Thank you. I just want to make sure that there's structure and consistency so that it doesn't like
Okay.
get lost in the mix. So I would just like to make the motion to advertise those dates.
When they be held,
For
and
council.
then Josh, maybe you can put them down on that little bulletin board down there.
Oh,
And
yeah.
the website.
Okay, that motion was made, who's seconded it?
I second it.
All in favor, or question? All in favor, say by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion so carried. We're
Before
under,
we adjourn, can I make a comment?
yes, go ahead.
I forgot something. I'm so
Oh, you
used to
do.
not reporting this because there haven't been any, but weddings. There were 4 weddings in June, so we're picking up. Ariane Landers, Marlando Morrison, Chanel Quadras, Teddy Polanco, Dorothée Lafontaine, and Jefferson Joseph, and Katarzyna Zul, and Amado Garcia Correa. And they were fun. Little kids, ring bearers. Yeah.
You walk them down the aisle? Okay, young lady, you have the floor.
Before you adjourn, I was, I guess I pulled the short straw tonight. Everybody left. In case you don't know me, I am Wendy Webster from Summit Point. Yada, yada, yada. Anyway, I was asked about
That's about the house.
the meeting that we had
That be brought up
with
yet?
our executive
don't want to-
board.
if you want me to
Are
bring
you
it up,
sending out
bring it up.
fines and how much will you be sending them out for?
I
Have
don't
you
know, like
discussed
said.
that?
I did notify Alexis the following day. I sent her an email because Bill gave me a list of the cars. And he said, I gave her a list of all the addresses. I told her to do it. I have to apologize because she didn't respond. So I will, notification this week, but I will.
So I'll go back to my meeting and say, no answer. Okay.
I'm fine.
That's, I know y'all are. The other thing that Bill wanted me to bring up is, if you've noticed, 21 Mountain Drive, and what are we gonna do about this? 21 Mountain Drive is the dilapidated house. I mean, please condemn it and tear it down or something, but it's definitely a safety
in the
issue.
community?
Is there somebody in there?
What-
No, there's got broken windows.
Oh, that's
and-
a duplex.
It's a duplex and it's so dilapidated, I mean, nobody's been there the whole 15 years.
Well, don't they have a sheriff still in it? The
I
county?
haven't a clue.
Huh?
I don't know, I haven't a clue, I'm just,
Sure, that's what they normally, if they're not paying taxes on it.
Nobody's
You know the one on Summit? The white one on Summit now.
white one on
Mike was
Summit?
saying how much money was owed on, you know, as far as sewage fee. The gentleman that owned that was like $40,000 that he owed the authority. But he never paid it, and then they ended up selling it as a sheriff's sale, and naturally you get nothing there. That should come up under sheriff's sale.
I don't know anything about it, but
It's
if
been
you
empty
can.
for.
No, it would be easy to, find out.
Years. I've been there 15 years.
No, it would,
Does your association have a lien on it?
Wait a minute.
No, we don't, but I thought that they were asking the question about the borough condemning it. And then let's tear the thing down. I mean, we don't have the authority to.
We have something called the land bank that we can look into.
Okay.
But we need to find the status, and I think that's what Jim was trying to say.
Okay.
it's easy to find out whether something's on a tax sale list and or a sheriff's sale list, because that's all public record. You actually can go online and look at that.
Yeah, they
But
should,
when do you-
they
we'll
should,
look into
you know,
Good answer.
are you,
Thank you. Happy birthday to me.
I'll give you a name, Cindy Tribal is the chief assessor down at the courthouse, not the courthouse, but in the old, used to be a garage. She can tell you just the status on that particular property.
For tax claim.
For tax claim, yeah. She'll give you the right person to tell you what the status is.
We can't.
Normally what happens is, if they don't pay, they go up for, you know, there's like 3 stages.
How does that work? I know I've had a lot of people question me about what's the status of it because they want.
Yeah, well, she can tell you. Then what it does is, it goes up for a sheriff's sale, you know, each state.
So the problem with that is it takes
Obviously, nobody wants it, but,
We've got another one on Mountain Drive and stuff that they're redoing, and.
is it in the borough of Mount Pocono or is it in Coolbaugh?
So we're gonna be adding a couple more to our list. They're just popping up.
Is the other one in the borough of Mount Pocono or is it in Coolbaugh?
Yeah, it's right on Mountain Drive, and just down the street, maybe 2 properties on the opposite side. It's a black duplex, and they worked on the one side, now they're working on the other side.
So they're fixing it. They're
Yeah,
trying.
because we try to get them like for the trash and stuff that's being left out. And of course, everybody's telling us the same thing, they're waiting for a dumpster, and I get it, because we were doing that too when we, you know, redid stuff, so.
Okay, but I just call, you can tell Cindy that I sigged you on her,
Oh, really?
okay?
Okay.
I worked for Cindy, or with Cindy, for about 20 years as a chief assessor.
I'll drop your name, I'm a
Yep.
name dropper.
Yep.
And I just want to let you guys know that, you know, like off the record, I'm right here in the second seat, and I can't hear you, and I can barely hear you when you sit back and lean away.
Well,
from the mic.
I'll stop relaxing.
So, yeah, stop relaxing.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I mean, I'm not hard of hearing or anything, but
Your foot's in the wire.
Don't fall on us now.
it's come. I'm back in the back too. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Is there anything else? Because I'm wondering.
We have another.
We have one other thing here that I didn't bring up.
There's a young lady at the desk.
Let me bring this up before we have a letter here from Newman and Williams, and it's reference to 32 Brunswick Drive. It's about the property. Let's see, I'll let Jim, you want to explain it, Jim?
This relates to the 32 Brunswick Drive property, the property that burned, and I wrote a letter to Troy Friedman, who's a lawyer down in the Philadelphia area that represents the bank that has a mortgage on this. They had what was known as forced insurance on the property, which means that the bank paid to have insurance, and the total amount of that insurance was a little over $42,000. In accordance with the borough ordinance, the $5,600 of that was paid into escrow. We actually have that in our escrow account, and I wrote to Mr. Friedman to ask if they would agree to allow us the balance of the proceeds from the insurance claim, put that into an account, and then demolish the property and deduct our costs out of that fund, and then return whatever balance would be to the bank. And I wrote that letter on June 25th. I had a nice conversation with him. but I don't, he was gonna review it with the bank and get back to me, and that's where it stands.
Thank you.
Okay, so that's the one that burnt down, or half
Right.
down, or whatever, okay. All right, now we're ready for the public participation.
We already did. Anne
Well, it's-
Marie Harris, 236 Winona Road. One question I was gonna ask was what was the situation with that house that burned down on Brunswick? We just found out about. Number two, the carnival from the volunteer fire company is going to be next week, Monday through Saturday. The kitchen is being run by the Ladies Auxiliary, of which I am a member, and we are always looking for people to help us in the kitchen. There are people, it's going to be basically 6 to 10, all nights. Wednesday maybe later because of fireworks, and Saturday they usually push out the last night as long as they can. So if anybody is interested in helping us, just let me know. I've got the list going.
Anne Marie,
Yes,
I volunteered online. I haven't heard anything.
to the
So,
Ladies Auxiliary.
I don't know that it was the auxiliary that posted it.
Yeah, we don't post.
Yeah.
They're not
Is
online.
there a
Fire
number
company.
that someone can call, or?
Yeah, you can call me. I'm at 570-856-1475, and I'm the one making the schedule for the, and that's just for
Just for the kitchen.
the kitchen.
Okay.
So if you can burn things, they need you.
No, the men will be cooking this year, I'm told.
And the other part of it, since she mentioned the carnival, in the event that someone would like an opportunity to win $30,000, I have the tickets. They're $20
And you
a
can go online and get ride tickets if you get them ahead of time. Number 3 I have is, I have a question for Patty on the grant for the ball field that we were talking. Did that ever go through?
No, that's still in process. The one right out here, this ball
Yeah.
field, that's still in process. It hasn't been decided yet.
Okay, my personal opinion, which I did put on Facebook, just because I wanted to, is that if that's supposed to be to alleviate downtown parking, which is what was explained at the meeting, I have in and out every day, just about up and down 611, and I don't see any cars taking up the parking spaces that we already have much north of the casino theater. I cannot imagine how we think extra parking spaces here is gonna help the downtown.
When I started this grant, actually, we were in a grant meeting, and we were going through the grants to see what was available. That came up for me, not to be out parallel parking, because I agree with you.
told my wife I'd be home at
because
9:30.
there's never, well,
I got 3
actually,
minutes.
one Saturday, not too long ago, it was packed downtown. But I was more interested in, when I come here, when I come to the office, that playground is used nonstop. And I spoke with Joshua, I'm like, we need a bigger playground. The kids have nowhere to go, there's like these little swings and stuff. When that came up in the grant meeting, I was more interested in a bigger playground.
Swing.
So it's
Get
not
ready to
decided,
buy
they
more
did a
mulch.
sketch because they had to do a sketch to submit it for the grant. That wasn't decided, that's why it never went.
Well, how do we, I have a question, not to interrupt, but it is on the subject. Like, how do we change those plans once they've been submitted?
You can change the plan, which Chuck
I've
was
never
there.
seen that, like, I don't know even how you
It's
would do
only a
that.
sketch plan, so
Right.
it doesn't.
But it's very detailed with,
I
you know,
understand
square
that.
feet, dollar amounts, supplies.
Deb, so was the plan last year for the streetscape, and it was always an issue that we could revise that when, later on,
Yeah,
down
but
the
I
line.
didn't see with this one, I didn't see that written anywhere, that's my only question.
Yeah, it's the same grant application, actually.
Because I had asked for that, because I didn't like on the sketch plan where they put the shed. It was way too far, because I'm thinking if the pavilion is gonna be there, the shed shouldn't be there
Okay.
because it's first Friday.
So, at what point do we need to modify that?
Why are they
We're just
discussing
waiting,
this table?
has Jordan gotten back to you?
It's still,
It's still in early stages.
It's still in the
It
stage
has to be approved
of
before we
working out.
even-
It hasn't been approved or anything like that.
Council hasn't even approved it, it was just an application, so it would still come back before council, so if there were an issue with Parks and Rec, or you personally, Debbie,
They wanted
could
a dog
bring that
park
forward.
out
But
there.
it's going to require that we still put more parking up here.
Not
Rather
necessarily.
than, okay, then can we just fix our ball field and let our little leagues use it? And, you know,
Well,
they're
it's-
always looking for places to play.
Yeah, it hasn't been used for about 2 years, but
Why is
that's
that?
because
It's
they
because
have.
It's not safe, correct.
It hasn't been
What do you mean it's not
Why
safe?
don't we use money, the
Out
grant
here,
money for
Yeah.
that, to upgrade it to where it should be?
Oh,
Kids
come
can't
on.
run around
Plus,
out there.
according to.
What do they want,
Jim
like a,
Ferretta, measurements were
Yankee Stadium? When I played, we played on
Well, I
gravel.
think Little League- We used to play
Played in
Little
the
League
street.
games back.
Yeah, or in the
Yeah.
street.
And I don't,
Okay.
I don't know that they've changed.
Your time's up.
No.
What else you got there?
Yes.
One more, that's
I
all.
would like to know if someone on council could find out why County Waste is not notifying us when they're having a problem. I wanted to put
She's
something
gonna
else-
take care of that.
No, that was this question. I am asking in general, why do not they notify us, taxpayers, or the borough? I don't care which it is, it should be both, when they have issues that they're not going to pick up the garbage.
How do you know that's the truth?
Well, wait, can I?
Someone called and asked, because you have to call and tell them to put you on the list for pickup.
Emery, I think Joshua.
I was gonna say, that is an issue with County Waste, and maybe we
Yes.
can, we'll set up a meeting,
I'll set up a meeting with them to address that.
In
It has to be
general.
a phone meeting, it's not gonna be something that they're gonna do in person, it doesn't,
But
it's
they
not
send
that
out, they
severe.
send out text messages to people, how come they're not doing it for?
I wanna believe it's because they're trying to wing it, and they're trying to make sure that they can cover what they can, because a lot of times that I've noticed, we've got notifications that they're not going to be able to pick up until the following day.
Yes.
But some parts of the borough are picked up on time.
Right.
And there's just a delay because they're short-manned, and
truck
they
broke
can't get
down.
all the way through. So they do what they can, but if they can't get, it's usually later on in the day that they're like, hey, listen, we're not gonna get through. And then some of us, myself included, end up with our garbage out overnight and the bears enjoy it, and then I have a mess to clean up in the morning. It's inconvenience, it's annoying, but I know that they're doing their best. I will call, along with Josh, to see if there is another way that we can get that information out there.
Concerning
Anne Marie,
our
what
website.
happens is, people just put their stuff out. They're supposed to, they don't run around with the pickup truck or whatever it is every day. If they know they have to go a certain place to pick up a couch or something like that, that's what they do. I mean, they don't put them in the dumpster, the truck that, and crush them.
Correct.
They come separately and pick them up. That's why they want you to call in and actually to Diana, and then she tells them that they have them too. I guess she gets 2 calls.
It is a couple different ways, and believe me, Diana and I will probably emailing them like 5 or 6 times every single day, just from a lot of residents calling. But it is a mix of issues with their staffing, and it's also just irregularity, I think, with their administrative policies and procedures. So that's one thing we'll have to just connect with them. They're not consistent with letting us, so yeah.
You mentioned the website, and you said that we have several different ways of contacting them. Which is going to be the official webpage on Facebook? What is it called? And will it be activated?
No. So the official web, kind of mixing 2 things. The official webpage is Mount Pocono, I'll spell it out, -pa.gov. It's the same as our current web address.
That's the web address, yes.
Yeah. So there will be feeds onto that website and going out from Facebook, from Twitter, and the other ways
What
that we
is the
spoke about.
Facebook page called? Because we do have several that say official.
Yeah. It'll be on the site too, you can find it from there, but I will.
Yeah, I just tried to do it through a paid site and they want me to log in, I don't do
Yeah, you
login.
can let me know on that, Mike, I was
Okay.
just curious.
I have it.
And the last thing, when it comes to, I must agree with Mike Ozer on one of the things here.
Your time is limited.
You notice the time is limited on that one.
They told me that several meetings ago, and when everyone.
And you're still there talking at the podium? Several meetings ago, you're still in?
I have several friends that are live in different communities, and they collect fines all the time. Believe it or not, they make money off of collecting their fines for people.
That's why we're advertising for a zoning code enforcement officer.
Okay. And the last, on that same thought of organizations and developments, is they are required to provide their own legal, however you want to call it, whatever it is that they're paying for. If they have somebody that's not paying their dues, or if they have somebody that's not, renting out, let's say the short-term rentals that we're talking about, they fine the owner. Number one, if it goes past so many times, they have to use their own attorney. Why should Mount Pocono taxpayers, how come we need to be footing the bill that the associations should be doing?
Well, Mike and I had met with them. They invited us, it was Mike and I met them. And that's what I've been saying. I ran an association for 14 years in Florida. Part of your revenue is your fines. They're not. They want us to fine for the cars and for the garbage, and, I mean, we can, but it's also taken away from our payroll hours.
Sure.
So I do have an issue as far as that as well. Yes, they are taxpayers from Mount Pocono, absolutely. Yes, some things we can go after, but as an association, are they doing everything? No.
So then we have to tell when they all come to the meeting, and they all stand up and say, what are you doing, what are you doing? You're not doing anything. You say, what are you doing? You're not doing anything. It's their responsibility, not necessarily.
It's a two-pronged approach, Anne Marie.
Well,
We have to enforce our codes, and they
Yes,
should
but
enforce
there's
their
certain
covenants.
things, theirs take precedence
Well,
over
yes.
But I
us.
have
So
to-
let them pay for their own.
Well, like tonight, Wendy had said, they have a house that's vacant, and
That's
did
gonna
they
go
pay
with it,
dues?
yeah.
No. Put a lien on that house. They
Like
should
you
have
said,
been,
it's
they
been
should
bought-
have
it's
been
been
writing
My
that up.
sisters had to do in their whole development is
You
10
know, we beat that down to a pulp,
But we're still beating it.
and we're still beating it, and we're gonna keep on beating it. Like I said before, we get one that we take to court, and if we win the case, there's gonna be a lot of them that are not gonna be able to do it, doing what they're doing. So that, all we have to have is one.
Our cost, Fran.
Really,
It should
if you
be
set
their
up, if you set up here, then we'll hear what you're saying.
Oh, wow.
I sit up here and I agree with her. So,
I mean, you're not, they pay taxes too, so.
Yeah, but I spoke to Wendy, and she said that they do fine the people, but they don't pay the fine.
That's true.
Just like Alexis said that we fine them, and they
No, we're
don't
not.
pay off
We're not
fines
finding
either.
them. I haven't seen a fine, and I have been asking Alexis for it. Now, when
She
we went,
said she has boxes of them down
she's
there.
got boxes, there was the one next to me too.
Yeah, old
Nothing's
ones, that's what I'm
enforced.
saying.
Okay.
Just start.
We're not gonna kick Summit Point Association around anymore. This is about the 5th time that I've heard this. And,
Franny, it's been more than 5.
Yeah, it's not gonna.
I know, but I mean.
We're not gonna kick them around. I'm voicing.
But can't
as a
you
taxpayer.
just wait and see what happens when Jim has his case on the 13th? Or do we wanna kick it around till the 13th?
Sure.
Let's see what happens then.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, anything else be brought before?
Yeah, just a quick late note. Oh, sorry. I was gonna say just a quick late note. Just a happy birthday. I think in the last 2 weeks it was councilperson Fran, Claudia, and Stacy had birthdays in the last 2 weeks, so
Yeah.
happy birthday to the 3 of you.
So you gotta be born in July.
And you know they're all older than me.
Is that what you're saying?
And they're all older than me.
My birthday.
Did you get your $20 yet?
Who had a birthday?
Claudette,
birthday's tomorrow.
that I
Oh,
want to ask?
And
See?
Jim's
Jim's
birthday's
tomorrow.
tomorrow.
Oh.
And
So
my,
I'm surrounded by July people. What's
and
it?
my wife's
Oh, mine
birthday
was
was
June
July
29th.
3rd. She missed being a firecracker.
Oh, wow, look at you guys.
All right.
Can I bring up one thing?
What sign is that?
So,
What sign
Mount
is that?
Pocono Rotary Club, we're gonna do a recycling event on August 7th.
What are you collecting? Anything
Um,
particular?
Yeah, like, paper, stuff to be shredded,
Okay.
and, electronics, I guess. So the thing is, we're gonna have the truck come. I'm trying to get Bill Bracy to let us do it like in front of where Ace Hardware was, but if we can't do that, can we do it out here? Can we put the truck over
When is
here
it?
on the borough?
Do you have a date for it?
August 7th.
Well, the borough picks up electronics and so on. And
Yeah,
they
but
take
this
them
is-
over, they
this is
take them
gonna
over,
be- this
they
is
take
a-
them to
This is
Blakesley.
a service event for Rotary, for our Rotary Club.
So
Yeah.
Stacy, just have Rotary send the borough an email, a letter,
Okay,
making that
okay.
request. And
So
then
I'm
we
just waiting for a call back from, Bill Bracy, because he usually lets us do events in the parking lot
Okay.
there, like we did pedals.
But
for
still send the
a
information
cause.
here because then it
Right.
can go on the website.
Okay,
Yeah, for
okay.
backup too.
Okay, so I just wanted to let council know that we're doing that.
Okay. Anything else? Thank you.
So we adjourned?
Pardon?
Are we adjourning?
Yes, if there's no more business be brought before the meeting, it is adjourned.
You second?
I second.
Okay.
Okay.
Hey, I noticed we didn't have our flags out today. Hurts my feelings.
And it's July 4th.
Oh, thank you.
Take that?
Yeah, I'm afraid, just give that to Judge, that's the ordinance for the lawn maintenance. He just has to sign it and put it with the ordinance. For the what? That's for Judge, yeah.
Here's your pencil back.
Thank you.
I like your dress. I think I have something like that. I had one in yellow.
Good night, Fran.
All right, good night, Jim.
My mother bought it for me, and I loved it. So I got a big purple thing right on my boot. That's why I wear black 90% of the time, because I'm having a hard time walking right now, and I have to open and close the store tomorrow.
And you're up on your feet all
The
day.
whole day. Yes, Joy.
Now I gotta go home and put my wife to bed.
I have to go give my grandbaby a bath with her.